the former coach of ENTS, coming on over to be the secondary coach, doing primarily analytical work for G2.
True.
And Mantis FPS has Summer Rain, also one of the Korean Pro League casters. Let's take a look at the map veto here and see where we're going to end up. Now, APAC is a very interesting meta when it comes to map choices that end up getting played.
True.
And it's very difficult to get a lot of that information on these teams, and we'll see where we go. Villa and Border will be the very first 2 bans. And keep in mind that the way that the map ban system works on LAN is different. It's 2 bans, you pick your maps, and then you ban again, and then you have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, and so we already have our first pick because of that. Coastline, as you can see, picked by Mantis FPS, and we'll have Clubhouse as the second one there by G2. Leaving us, looks like Oregon as the final and decider map, should we get to it.
Interestingly enough, so Coastline, Clubhouse, and Oregon. But Clubhouse will actually be our first map to go on here.
Look at that.
There you go.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Clubhouse today. We've seen Villa twice. We saw Coastline once, and we saw Oregon once. At least on this stream. We can't speak for the B stream. Bravo.
That's true.
So
Villa was some really interesting stuff because it was a little bit different than what we're used to seeing. We saw a lot of really cool strategies, especially pulled out by FaZe in that first match of the day. And that's why I have a lot of hope for this being potentially a really good match. What is Mantis going to show us? What are they going to bring out? And there's potential for underestimation from G2 as well. And that's worth keeping in mind.
I feel like this is one of the teams that G2 actually gave a ton of praise to in
Oh,
Paris. Yeah? Back when Mantis were competing under the title of Element Mystic.
I remember that.
Then they turned around and G2, it was Fabian, I believe, who actually tweeted saying, you know, these guys are the real deal. I'm very impressed with the way that they've played, and actually gave quite a surprise to G2 in their scrims. But we'll see how it actually happens in practice, as these 2 teams will compete in an official match for the first time since fall 2017.
And I mean, the APAC region as a whole has come such a long way in terms of being internationally competitive. And it's always so interesting to see them play at these events because of that. Montaigne going to be the first ban here from G2. They just don't want to deal with it. Makes sense. And then we'll see Maverick. So Maverick as a ban on Clubhouse makes a whole lot of sense, as he can pretty much disable you bandit tricking on certain walls, as well as in control of many other things on such as Jacuzzi Wall. And yeah, pretty much the lack of bandit tricking is really going to hurt you no matter where you go. I mean, all of the default sites you can bandit trick on. So yeah, no Maverick means you will be able to do that. We'll see Mira and Maestro again, and that's the 3rd match in a row. Or actually, well, I guess technically the 5th map total in a row that we've had a Maestro and a Mira banned. No deviation there at all.
Yeah. APAC as a whole tends to play a lot of shields.
It's true.
And it's funny because, you know, Pengu, I feel like, referred to himself as a shield main on G2. And they banned the Monty. Might see him on Blitz. If I remember, G2 had Monty banned against him, or Blitz banned against him in the secret matchup in particular. So anyway, and that Empire Immortals game is actually currently on Clubhouse, so there is some duplication here. I don't know the 3 maps that we saw on Fnatic Reciprocity, because naturally we were casting our own games, Michael.
Yeah, the schedule's been a little bit weird because we were so far ahead of schedule on this on the A stream. It's been a little bit wacky, that's for sure. It's hard to really follow all of the action. That's why we advise that you make sure to watch both of them so you catch each of these matches round by round.
Yep.
So it's going to be a basement defense first here for G2. All right. Alibi being brought here on Kanto. That's really interesting. Looks like it's going to be a roam upstairs. Alibi we've seen actually a lot of on this map, especially on the top floor. You can use her gadget to kind of simulate more of a presence on the top floor. And that has always been an interesting way to try and exert some pressure onto the roamers, or roam clear rather, when you're defending the basement. Because roaming on this site is not exactly advisable. You got to do something to make it be more powerful than it would be by default. Alibi's gadget isn't amazing, but it does do some things right.
I find it, I mean, it's a great weapon in the hands of Kanto Raketti, who's capable of fragging with just about anything. I feel like you could give him a stick and a rock as an operator,
and he would make it work.
I still think he could top frag a lot of matches.
I mean, Kanto Raketti is the most successful fragger in Siege right now. Period. Like, that's just a fact. That's stats. He is currently the most successful fragger. End of story. And yeah, he can pretty much frag out with anything. I mean, if he likes to play Alibi and he wants to play Alibi, then I'd say, heck, man, let him play Alibi. And again, having that presence upstairs with with that gadget, he's gonna have a lot of information potentially going his way. You know, with a roam by jungle, Kanto Raketti narrowly misses a shot there onto Ying, who's trying to make his way into servers. Oh, the Candela will get Kanto, but Kanto will find the Ying. A beautiful exchange there that G2 comes out on top of, but Hetty is able to get the refrag. As Kanto Raketti goes down, that's the roamers upstairs cleared out. For Mantis FPS, good job. But it did cost them a Ying, which is a lot of utility.
He doesn't even need eyes to get kills.
It's true.
Oh, Fabian is waiting for Hetty, and very minimal droning right now from Mantis as Hetty puts himself in a dangerous position with Sweet Black running on in. Once again, you can see no drones though available there, but a great read and a good call onto Fabian. So you almost lose the Valkyrie and then ensuing fray. Elio's not too far off as you got multiple bodies, and there you go.
Wow.
Cross body to take out Fabian, even though he was on cam the whole time.
That was excellent game sense there from Sweet Black, and like you said, good calls, good teamwork from the rest of the team, but because they lost their Thermite, they're going to be a little bit more limited on the hard destruction. There is, of course, a Habana, but still limited is the key word here for Mantis FPS.
Bomb located by attacker.
I'm really interested to see the way that Mantis is going to make a recovery here with the buck. You don't even have the buck in a position where it looks like right now. Oh, but there's some airmail, and Goga will receive it. Sweet Black picks up his second kill, and there's NV Taylor with Jonas in a 1v3. Gets droned out by Sweet Black, sees another body, takes out NV Taylor. Tries to connect with Sweet Black, playing around this bomb chassis, and not too far off, but they will double up, and Mantis, what a round, Sweet Black. A 4K and an incredible entry.
Wow.
G2 get just far too aggressive. Mantis reads it every step of the way, and they capitalize.
That was beautiful play from Sweet Black and Mantis as a whole. Great coordination. Kanto Raketti on the top floor did a little bit of work, but it wasn't enough. Honestly, didn't expect him to die after the first kill. He wasn't accounting for the potential roam inside, or roam clear rather, inside of construction though. Following Kanto Raketti's death, we had Fabian try to fight back, as per usual with G2. And he did, he got that kill, but again, Mantis only let it be one kill. Sweetback got the refrag, pardon me. And following that refrag, even man count, clear from Mantis through Moto drop. That first nade, I mean, what was that nade? That was beautiful. He faked out the close nade to clear the barbed wire. The second one, like you said, airmail as he was dropping. Very well placed. And then it was just an easy entry into Church with the rest of his teammates, cutting off the rotation between the two sites. I mean, wow. Good round there from Sweet Black getting that 3K, and overall from Mantis FPS.
I mean, how unheard of is it to have a cash defense and have bodies inside of garage, have people playing in main lobby? It was pretty sloppy defense from G2. It's definitely a defensive strategy that we haven't seen before, and it was a basement defense. You had two bodies playing so aggressively off-site. That's not something you usually see on Clubhouse, especially on this site.
I think that, again, that's why we theorized they were bringing the alibi, so that they could have that presence upstairs, like you talked about.
I mean, it's really just G2 saving strats.
Done talking to you. Mantis FPS now in a good position, but they're going to lose NV Taylor early on. The Habana being gone, not great. Especially, again, considering this is a basement attack. That means less of the drop-downs will be opened up. Pengu playing inside of garage, and again, unheard of. Like you said, the roam from G2 is just a little bit wonky, and it's working to upset Mantis FPS in this situation. Pengu's just waiting on this angle.
Finally somebody will drone, but it's Nelio droning himself in, and this is a lack of comfort for Mantis. And something that we've actually seen before from them is that it's an inability to coordinate well together on a number of times, and some of the fewest drones that I've seen get done from any team. Hetty gets picked off by G2, and it's just a full court press right now, as it's a massive struggle for Mantis to be able to get into the building. Sweet Black, massive damage done to Jonas, and a big kill. The best player of Mantis FPS so far. He's going to have a Zofia not too far off, as Nelio will pick up that diffuser, but both of the hard breachers from Mantis' lives have just essentially been tossed away really early on. Still 90 seconds for Mantis to work with in a recovery. That's definitely doable. And that's a 2v3. We've seen this happen before on Clubhouse, where it's not too much of a gap to be able to bridge.
Joining their way in, they will see, looks like the Yokai drone from Goga. It's good information from Sweet Black, who is very on point right now. Looking for that Yokai drone. He's not going to be able to find it there from that angle. The other one located inside of blue. G2 know that all they need to do here is wait, and so they're doing exactly that, just holding on.
Wait a minute. Hatches are soft.
Whoa. Yeah, you're right. The stock hatch is soft. The other two are reinforced. That's a odd oversight by G2, but it probably won't cost them too much. Pre-fire here from Sweet Black, and he's trying to enter in through Moto. He's got to contest Goga and Cancer Raketti, though, so it's not going to be easy. Fabian will find his teammate leaving Sweet Black in a 1 versus 3. Aggressive pushes here from all of the defenders. Sweet Black will get one because of that. The shotgun, though, will win out. And Goga locks that round in his team's favor. Great defense there from G2, and the patience working out well.
It's an interesting setup that they had once again, committing bodies off-site, having the Supernova in the hands of Goga. That is something I can't really say that I've seen before on behalf of the Echo. So interesting. At least you've got, for the time being, Sweet Black carrying the load for Mantis FPS. And on G2, after winning on Church, they have to go to another site. So they're going to go upstairs to Cash. The clash was just a fake out.
Yeah.
Put Jonas on the Pulse, which you see him play quite a bit.
Yeah, so you can fake out the clash, and you can make your opponents think that you've got that shield and adjust to something a little more useful, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. Clash is a really situational operator, and with the SMG buff, she has become much more powerful, that's for sure. But still, you cannot just bring her to bring her. And there's so many other defensive operators that are borderline essential on certain sites. Like, for here, a Valkyrie can be very, very useful. An Echo is just like a no-brainer. You're going to bring that. The Bandit is to trick the wall. The Pulse is to play downstairs and C4 from underneath if the defender, or rather attackers, don't clear out underneath. If not, he can still call out a lot of information on the push. That is a ballsy cam there from Fabian. Actually, might have landed on the trash bags. That could go undetected. There's no IQ right now on the attacking team, but as I was rounding out the defenders here, Jaeger catches those grenades, and of course that is oh so important.
Doesn't even get spotted. Sitting in the trash bag. And Fabian's just going to go for a run out. Almost losing it though. Envy Taylor, a great flick. Fabian gets away with just a tiny bit of HP, but he's in a perfect spot to get a reset. Jonas will just test the reflexes of Sweet Black as the Buck tries to back up enough. Jonas unaware that the Buck has dropped down though, and there you go. Back under rappel, Sweet Black heading back towards the roof. I am astonished with just how aggressive. Anybody else want to see Pengu just hit the G button on that one? Anybody else?
No. No, Parker.
On to Fabian? No?
All right. I think it's better if
G2
just tries to win the round. It'd be good if they just, they go for the win.
Blow him up.
You know what I just thought I was gonna say go for the W, but I restrained myself. But it reminded me that, remember when we talked about Shuttle didn't have the L in his name? He got the L at the end of his match.
Oh my.
Yeah, I forgot to say it.
Oh my.
I forgot. I'm sorry.
That's so weird. All right.
What are you talking about? He lost. They lost.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
You dropped the L. SSG's like, here, I found it.
Alright, so but on this match though, Fabian got reset. After that run out, taking out Envy Taylor, that was a really influential pick. He got a lot of HP taken out. That's a free kill there for Sweet Black, who has been fragging out in this match, and he had good cover from his teammate there from main stairs, as you can see. So that's going to allow good control downstairs. Meaning Jonas is on the roam in the basement, but he's going to have to come back to influence the clear here from the attackers if he wants to actually have any input on this round.
There's been a massive struggle right now with Mantis just to be able to make it towards the site without getting into altercations, and a big part of that is how aggressive G2 is getting.
Yeah.
We have it again.
Speaking of,
trying to play around, Goga eliminates Nelio as Goga just gets right on top of the table. A frag grenade will go off below. It looks like this might actually work. Oh no, doesn't quite make it that far.
This is a nice try.
It was a valiant effort. Goga picks up yet another. Fragging very well. The Spaniard is. The Echo pushes around the corner. Two Japanese operators will tussle. Shotgun out, waiting so patiently as the Bucks' position is given away, and Sweet Black is known downstairs inside of stock. Very low on HP as he's going to get just pounced upon now that Nova falls, and the Buck all alone. I'll have to try to make it out of stock, but there's Fabian, and G2 is just everywhere right now. Mantis really struggling.
G2 challenged Mantis on all the angles that Mantis was not expecting. They didn't take the straight-up fights because they're aware that Mantis is capable of winning them. And, for example, Goga peeking into construction is a little bit abnormal. The way he was doing it, standing on top of the shelves in cache, also very abnormal. It moved his head hitbox way, way up, and as a 3 armor, he was able to abuse the heck out of that, using his sidearm SMG to win those long-range fights. The shotgun as well has been a powerful tool in the hands of Goga throughout this match. And on Echo, he has been fearsome. Valkyrie, Fabian specifically, has been going for those deep roams and making it work out. But they're late roams. They're delayed. He's not just doing what Kanto or Ketty is doing and leaving himself exposed to potential roam clear. We have seen Kanto getting picked a lot because he has been doing just that. Fabian is coming in late from the side where Mantis least expects it. And it's working out so very well. Mantis is having trouble adjusting to it. Now, we're going to be going to Gym. This is the third site total defended by G2. 4 defenses, but 2 of them on the basement. And first time we're going to see G2 show us what they have here.
How has nobody said, oh, we're going to go to Gym, we're going to see if this strat works out?
Attackers recovered the diffuser. Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Gym working out, Michael.
Oh.
What do you do when you go to a gym?
I've never...
Other than post about it on Instagram.
I don't think I've ever really, like, gone to a gym. Like, I've worked out before, but never in a gym. A home gym, maybe?
You can stop worrying about grenades now.
Dear God.
I don't... So gym defense, and as you can see, there are 4 defenders on the east side. There's only 1 anchor right now.
Bomb detected.
Now, Mantis doesn't know this, obviously, because they are not omniscient, so they can't just know things like that. But they are going to cut off the rotation by opening up that castle barricade. That is huge. The fact that they've done this now is going to make it a lot harder for the defenders to hold the site. You see that open hole there that Noah's looking through, though? The defenders can use that to deny the vault in from the south windows directly into sight. It's a very long angle that Kanto can play. And Kanto's going to get aggressive and lose to Nova. The patience to that IQ of Nova really paying off. And Pengu's going to have to take up the role. And that means he can't bandit trick. This is huge for Mantis.
They get the wall, too.
Yeah.
So, and Fabian downstairs under a lot of fire, and he's getting droned out here. It does appear that Mantis is working on droning an awful lot more than we've seen previously. This is good, and that information is so vital. Envy Taylor picks off what little was left of Fabian, and Mantis having an excellent start. They've wasted not very much time, rather. Another one for them as Jonas goes down, and Pengu and Goga will need to go into a 2v5 and clutch, like we've seen G2 do a couple times before. They have very little utility at their disposal other than the Yokais, though.
Yeah. If there's any team that's going to do it in this situation, it's going to be G2. Like you said, this is a difficult spot, though. Thermite's going to go into Jacuzzi wall, and there's actually somebody bandit tricking that. Pengu is going to be capable, but he will miss! No! Unfortunate! Goes for the wrong wall! Still playing the angle, though, and he might win the fight against the Thatcher. It's a close engagement. Both players left on very little HP, but Nova from behind gets his third. Goga now the final defender, and he's going to pump some shotgun blasts towards construction, but it won't be enough. I believe a perfect round for Mantis FPS. What a clear On to Jim.
And overall, an excellent play and an excellent round from Mantis. They used their utility well. They were in a position where Pengu possibly could have been able to get that bandit trick off. But the big thing was that G2 gave them so much ground and so much opportunity. Not that I want to disparage Mantis, don't get me wrong, but 2 of these rounds were won off of the fact that G2 just plays very loose, very disconnected, just not close enough to each other, and doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I think they were trying to do what they had been doing earlier in the match, where they had players far off site going for late flanks, and that was working out for Fabian especially. But because Mantis were winning the fights with the crucial linchpin players, like for example Cantor Ketty inside of Cash, it ended up really hurting G2 because they were spread far and thin. They started coming back to site, but at that point it was way too late. So nice job to Mantis to see what was available to them and purchase it. Now they have brought us back to an even round count.
If I'm G2, I mean, you got to stop making mistakes. So many mistakes.
A lot of them.
A lot of mistakes. You got to stop making these mistakes.
Don't make mistakes.
Because
just don't make mistakes, man.
Mantis is a good enough team where if you commit enough mistakes, they will grab that momentum and they will punish you for it every single time.
They are, yeah.
And so far, so good. You're all tied up. It's uncommon to see G2 commit as many mistakes as they have so far in this match alone. And it's really been, I think, more of a story for G2 over the last probably 2 months, I would say.
Yeah, for this first half of the Pro League season 9, and the so far what we've seen from the Invitational, of course that's only 4 rounds, there's been a lot. And it's causing people to worry. But they are still the same 5 players that were as dominant as they were in the past. So there's potential for them to show us what we've seen before. I'm not going to count them out right now. I think that'd be too early. And the round count is 2-2, not 4-0. So we'll see. Cantor Ketty also has not been fragging out so far. I think he has maybe 1 kill.
I think he's been the opening death in most of these rounds, actually.
Certainly, yeah. It's been tricky. So something that he's going to need to correct is Cantor Ketty has always been the guy on G2 who does not stop fragging.
Yes.
And not having him fragging now, it's definitely going to hurt G2. And
also losing confidence in, should be one of your top fraggers is never good. Sweet Black off the buck onto the Ash for now the second round in a row. It's going to come into an altercation there with Fabian, and it looks like Fabian is going to get very close to being reset if he... I'm not sure if he took damage from... Oh, there you go. He'll get reset through the wall.
Cantor Ketty's on a roam upstairs, and he has not been cleared out yet. There's no droning going on here. What is happening? They will detect he and Pengu, but all the same, a lack of information from Mantis.
And here's the thing, is that Mantis is consistently starved for information, largely off of their own doing. That's a fadeaway if I've ever seen one. Kanto, oh my god, as he just hops on down. I was going to say, Mantis is starved for information. Their drone work has not been good enough to be able to topple some teams. And they're winning these rounds, not just off of mistakes that G2 are making, but excellent gun skill. Really superb gun skill. Speaking of, Fabian tracks through Nova, doesn't really sustain any damage at all, and the pendulum will swing back into G2's favor with just 30 seconds to go. Envy Taylor spots the Legion of Pengu rotating on. As the Yokai burst goes up over ahead, Goga pulls out the shotgun, takes out Hetty, gets traded off by Envy Taylor, but the Hibana's in a very precarious position, as Fabian will shut the door on Envy Taylor's comeback just inside of Moto, and G2 will regain the lead.
Good round there from G2. A lot of that comes down to the fact that none of their players got picked off early off site. The 2 roamers they had on the top floor managed to retreat back to site unscathed, and, well, not entirely, I suppose. Cantor Ketty took a little bit of damage there, but all the same, they made it back to site. That's the most important thing. No frags for Mantis on that clear, whether they really should have gotten some. G2 winning their gunfights. And that's a change of form for them in this match so far, because that's been the problem in earlier rounds, even the ones that they've been winning.
I'm more puzzled by Mantis
As many
just
bombs as they can.
pushing
Not
solo,
droning.
not really droning,
Yeah.
and not efficiently droning. That's the thing too. They've been a couple. There's been a couple instances where they're droning themselves in.
They're doing that thing that we used to see a lot of, like about a year ago, where it would be somebody droning themselves into frag or roam clear, and if they would drone in, they would spot someone, and then they would linger for 20 seconds on that doorway. They would peek 20 seconds later, and then they would, maybe win the engagement, maybe lose the engagement, doesn't matter. That's what you were saying when you mean inefficient droning,
10 seconds
and
left.
you can't be having that. Someone needs to drone for somebody else to clear these roamers on the top floor. I mean, it's
5 seconds
Clubhouse
to go.
roaming top floor is not an easy thing. Okay, G2 are doing it because they are G2 and they have confidence in themselves to make it happen. But it's definitely something that should be punished, no matter who you are.
Fabian's going to attempt the second run out here that he did the first time around. He sees the Thatcher upstairs. This will be a hard shot to land consistently.
It's a different camera this time, though. So
It is a different camera.
Surprised it hasn't been shot. It didn't land on the window. It's underneath it. So Thatcher should be able to see this pretty easily.
He's left the door open, though, so that's where the Thatcher is going to play, just sight trained. And you've got to imagine that Fabian is likely going to give information.
Oh, he definitely saw
Envy
it.
Taylor is now going to go on to drone.
He had to have seen it there.
No, he's still looking for the camera.
Oh, no.
Envy Taylor unaware of where this Valkyrie camera is, but a couple shots will give it away.
On the screen.
Hetty now droning Sweet Black in, so we need to see more of that for the time being. And like I said, it's miraculous that Mantis have been able to get away with as little droning as they have. It's largely all been based upon mistakes G2 made in the gunfights. And honestly, Mantis have been excellent with hitting their shots today.
Yeah, you can see there, as you said, Hetty droning Sweet Black in. That's great to see. Jonas is playing way downstairs, as you can see. Trying to run on a wild goose chase. He's invited all of Mantis FPS, and they are currently not accepting the invitation. I think it's a wise call.
Yeah.
He will potentially be a thorn in the side of the attackers, though, when we come to the last part of the round, last 30 seconds thereabouts. I cannot believe he has not seen that camera.
He's probably just not looking for it, surely, right? You have an IQ on the other side of the map. Still watching that doorway. This Thatcher
Blows
has
my
been on
mind.
permanent flank watch.
Blows my mind he has not.
Still watching it. Just waiting. So patiently. Poor Envy Taylor.
He must be playing like, oh, what a free kill for Sweet Black behind the bomb. Goga on his yokai drones, and he will be finished off. Hetty also takes out Fabian. So here we go, the run out all for naught. Despite the camera, he's not able to make anything happen. Pengu's looking to refrag through these holes that were made by the Buck, and he's gonna do some damage to Sweet Black, but it's an even trade. Yono's coming up from the basement, but he is known to the enemy and loses a lot of HP. Sweet Black trying to cut him off, but he'll lose that fight in the transition. Jonas with little HP, trying to work his way back up again. Nova might be able to catch him, though, on this move. It's going to be Cantor Ketty, actually, to get the frag from the balcony. Great positioning there.
And here's your execute that's going to come onto the cache wall now, or on the CCTV wall, rather, as it'll get opened up, and Canto Ricchetti is primed and ready to greet anybody who decides to come on in. But oh, he loses his fight. Envy Taylor so swift. It's a tiny portion. Oh, and a run out from Jonas almost grabs a second, but Hetty shuts the door. Pengu gets the marks. He'll win on, but there's Hetty with the trade. Mantis keeping even pacing with G2, and it's 3-3 on one of the best maps for the defense. Michael, Mantis in lockstep with G2 Esports right now.
That's just about as good as it could have been for Mantis. If we had seen anything more, a 4-2 potentially, then oh wow, we would be calling this match right now. Because you're right, this is one of the most defender-sided maps out there. And now, Mantis get to go to the advantageous side of defense. So, basement start for them. Looks like they might 6-pick into the Echo. I'm guessing that's what's going to happen here. They switch to the Bandit, but there's no way they're going to let that fly. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Gonna bring the Echo, and we've got a Dokkaebi being brought from G2. All sensible stuff here overall. I like the setup. Double hard destructors, lots of soft destruction as well. No need to bring the double explosive soft destruction of the Ashen Zofia, and you can bring the disruption of a Dokkaebi. So yeah, Mantis had a really good half there. That last round especially was impressive. It was Hetty with the refrags that held it all together. If he had not pushed Pengu, Pengu would have clutched it. Pengu is one of the clutch players. And in that situation, if he had been allowed to take 2 1v1s, there's no doubt in my mind that he would have had it.
I mean, Pengu lost most of his HP because he decided to fight a Buck.
Yeah.
from below through
True.
all of those metal bars.
10 seconds
Not
remaining.
smart.
I don't dispute that.
Not necessarily smart.
No, no.
5 seconds left
But
before
I still
insertion.
think that, again, if Hetty had not pushed with his teammate there, then I think we would have been in a 4-2 situation for G2, and that would have been much more comfortable for them.
I do agree with you.
Yeah. But here we are in the basement. Next half.
I'm astonished. I'm really impressed with how Mantis is winning these fights with very little information.
Me too. I am as well. I think one thing that's worth noting is how shut out Cantor Ketty has been for this match. Like, he's definitely winning fights, but not nearly as many as he usually does.
He's the top player right now as well in pro.
In terms of stats, yes. In terms of stats, he is the top player. And look at them right now with 3 kills. That's just, you know, for any other player, 3 kills, you'd be like, yeah, whatever. I mean, that's fine. He's having a decent match. He's not an amazing match so far. But he's got 1 kill for half the rounds. That's okay. But it's Cantor Ketty, guys.
Yeah.
The expectations on him are enormous, higher than anyone else in the entire Pro League to frag. So, yeah.
All right, well.
Uh-oh. There he goes.
By Kanto.
Uh-oh.
Unable to evade that C4. I don't know pre-placed or not, but
That's an old one right there.
that is, yeah.
It's an ancient C4.
And good coordination here from Mantis, too. Likely aided by a Valkyrie camera at some point. Jonas will finally make it in.
Yeah.
As the dual hard destruction from G2 will allow them a number of different avenues to be able to get in towards that site, almost all of which is required when you're attacking Church and Arsenal. Because you want to likely take that church wall, you likely want to take the dirt tunnel, which we just saw Gogo working on, and then you've got fragging potential on Pengu, who can just simply get the 3 drop downs as well.
Curious to see if they are going to be going for a church take or what the plan is. That is a really aggressive peek from Envy, playing with fire and still managing to come out on top. The fact that Fabian lost that fight, he just was not expecting it. I guarantee you, Fabian, in his mind, if not out loud, is thinking to himself, why the heck is he peeking that angle? But probably in less nice words.
Yeah, and a beautiful shot once again. And now you'll see 2 bodies stacked up inside a blue position given away. Goga's just going to walk right in. Can't land his shots, though, and he'll just head all the way in over towards pulse spot. Hetty picks up 1 and Nova another. And Mantis so firmly in the driver's seat on this round. Distorted by that Yokai drone. Pengu grabs 1, but there's Hetty with the refrag. And Mantis will regain the lead 4-3.
Wow. Great defense there from Mantis. You can see the smiles on their faces. They are very happy with themselves, and rightfully so. There will be a tactical timeout here from G2. Shaz will have an opportunity to instill some kind of faith or some strategies into his team. Just give them everything he can. Critique, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Important to remind you guys that your coaches in this game are not allowed to talk to the players throughout the regular round, only during the tactical timeout at a LAN event. So keep that in mind, and it's happening right now. Let's see what comes of it.
Just want to give a bit of an update as well about our first matchup that is going on the Bravo stream.
Oh, yeah?
And it would appear that Team Empire have taken match number 1 on Clubhouse, the same map that we're playing on right now, by a score of 8-6. So
wow,
that's Empire up very close in a triumphant comeback from Immortals to pull it into overtime here.
8-6. That is a close one. And wonder what's going to come of that match moving forward. But yeah, right now 4-3 Mantis's favor. They're looking really good, and everybody using this tactical timeout to the best of their ability. It also looks like we're just gonna have a little bit of delay here. But CCTV Cash Room, I would guess, is going to be the next site that we go to, as the basement was successfully defended. Gym is usually your 3rd, and because of that, we'll see some interesting play there. Something that's really worth noting is that Cash Room is actually probably one of the better sites in this current situation because Maverick is banned out. With Maverick gone, and yes, it looks like it's going to be Cash Room. With Maverick gone, you can bandit trick the wall, but there's so many counters to that. But one of those counters is not being brought. And that's Thatcher. I'm really curious as to why this is happening. There's definitely a lot of potential to counter bandit tricking from other places. Like, for example, you can grenade from the west window in server. You can buck from below. I mean, you've got a lot of Ash. You've got Ash charges, so you can Ash from below. You got a lot of options, but overall, Thatcher is by far the easiest and fastest solution. So I'm just curious why that's not happening. Why we don't have a Thatcher here.
A lot of stuff I've seen out of G2 have honestly puzzled me today.
I mean,
it sucks. It sucks for us because, I mean, you know, we give G2 an awful lot of praise because they are consistently one of the best teams, and we have higher expectations for them than almost every other team.
Currently they are the reigning world champions.
Yes, and while they might have had a bit of a slow start to the Pro League season, there still isn't enough evidence, in my opinion, to tell me that G2 are in serious long-term trouble. Every team goes through slumps.
Yeah.
And Mantis are a team coming in who have an interesting streak in APAC, but they came in through the qualifiers. They struggled against other APAC teams, and I mean, it's very easy for people to interpret that as us ragging on one team needlessly or spending too much time praising a team that doesn't deserve it. Right now, I think the story so far of this matchup is that there are a number of rounds that G2 shouldn't have lost.
Yes.
Mantis won because G2 threw it away, but I also think, Jonas is cut down by Invitational. And he's not even paying attention as he tries to slap his way through the front door.
But there's also plays like that. It's partially what you just said, and it's partially that Mantis are making plays like what we just witnessed and getting away with it. We've seen a lot of that through this match. G2 should be locking this up. I mean, remember that peek onto Fabian. Fabian's coming down main stairs as Dokkaebi, and the Legion is peeking from Arsenal on the left side, or the right side of the door.
Oh!
Black, what a shot onto Cantor Raketi. Again, very impressive gunplay from Mantis, no matter who it is. They shouldn't be winning these fights, but they are, and it's incredible every time it happens. Jonas goes down, Cantor Raketi goes down, and right now, it just looks like a complete lockout for Mantis. Potentially a 5-3, unless Fabian, Pengu, and Goga have something to say about it.
That was a beautiful shot on the Kanto as well, as Kanto was just
Yeah.
unaware of the position of the smoke. And here we go. Fabian will drone his way in. Gonna use a logic bomb as Pengu sprints on up. Sweet Black is below. Oh, poor timing. Shotgun instead of the SMG-11. That could have possibly been a free kill.
Yeah.
Yokai drone giving some assistance to Mantis inside of the garage.
Elio might be in a position to actually work with that Yokai drone and do some damage to these G2 players. A lot of focus being placed on control of Garage. I don't think that's always been the strategy here for G2, and they're doing it without tools like a Montaigne, of course, because he's banned.
That's the second logic bomb as well, Michael. As the position of Nelio is given away, and look at this joint effort. Nova pops up. Goodbye, Fabian. There's no trade-off. Pengu takes out Hetty. Nelio still playing downstairs as Goga trying to come on up. There's the MP suppressed. Oh, Nova dies on top. Looks for a second, gets caught in the reload. And it's a clown fiesta on the stairs. Pengu will recover, but he literally, in every use of the word, has 1 HP left. And he gets hit with the goo mine. And a look of astonishment spreads on the faces of Mantis FPS. And they now find themselves up 5-3.
No clutch possible if you get hit by a goo mine with so little HP. There's nothing Pengu really could have done about that. I mean, you could say, yeah, look at the floor, check before you walk, but no.
He also had so little time.
Yeah, in that situation, little time, you know you're going to be peaked probably from the server. You can't take your eyes off the potential peaks from the defenders. There's no reality where you're looking at the stairs before you push up there, and if you do, you're going to get punished. So bad situation for G2. Nice attempt at a recovery, but Mantis did not relent. And you can tell, it's so apparent that Mantis's game plan in this match is peak friggin' everything.
They're just, and that's the thing that I have been, and I cannot stress this enough. Mantis are hitting shots that I have not seen other teams hit so far.
Very impressive, yeah.
Incredibly impressive. And the fact that they are doing it with limited information is the most impressive part.
And the king of hitting shots himself right now is currently not. This is just so weird. This is backwards. It's opposite day today.
10 seconds.
And I know it sounds like we're... It's just in terms of our experience with these teams. having casted many matches with both of them, I mean, it's just weird. And it is so impressive to see Mantis doing this. I can't wait to see what map 2 is going to show us as well. This map 1 is far from over, though. Plenty of potential for G2 to bring it back.
It's going to be a long game if G2 wants to keep it.
Oh, yeah. We haven't seen a single defense dropped yet from Mantis. They won 2 in a row. They've only defended twice.
And that's what we come to expect, though, from Clubhouse.
Yeah.
So nothing really weird in that instance.
But at the same time, I mean, it's the fact that Mantis managed to take 3 rounds on attack. That's the impressive part, truly. So it's going to be G2 going to Jim. This is going to be about I think this is going to be the easiest attack they're going to have from what we've seen so far. And if they want to be taking rounds, then this is the moment right here. Now, G2 has been getting flanked a lot. You can see they're very cautious. They are aware, hyper aware, in fact, that they can be run out on from at any moment from anywhere. So they're spending a lot of time waiting for that exact thing to happen. And Mantis isn't making it happen just yet. They are pacing themselves exceptionally well. You can see all 5 players playing static. Envy is a little bit aggressive there on the drop down by Office, which is open, but technically still static, not going for runouts. It's a bit of a mix mash. It's Mantis will run out 1 round, and the next round they're just going to take odd angles, and they'll mix it up.
I'll put Kanto on the fragging operator right now of IQ, still capable of doing a lot of damage, but obviously needing a little bit more than just what is offered. But it is still strange to see Kanto on an operator that's not Ash. Oh, a beautiful shot from Goga. Hetty plays right into the hands of the Thermite. And Goga's in. He's in bathroom. He's going to see Nova. Drops 1, looking for another. Envy Taylor frags out onto Fabian. Kanto takes 1 down. Jonas eliminates Nelio. G2 starting to fire things up, as now Envy Taylor will try to grab 1, but can't grab Kanto Raketti. And G2 will take a round that they so desperately needed.
Yeah.
And they did so very, very fast.
Here we go, G2. This is what we expect to see. This is what we've been waiting to see. And it's awesome to witness. Now, only 1 round away from bringing it back. And it's not match point for anyone just yet. So really no way to say anything definitive about this match so far. But no matter what, Mantis has impressed pretty much everyone, I think, watching this match. Even just by bringing it to where it is right now. They're going to call a tactical timeout. I think this is a good opportunity to do just that, as they are inches away from having an even match again.
You get to go back down to church, which is where you won the first time, and you did so pretty impressively.
Yeah.
You get a second crack at that. It's the site that most teams are probably going to win on this map. So, okay, you give Mantis good odds to be able to push this to match point. I think it speaks more for G2 if they're able to wrestle this site away from their opponents, because it's definitely one where Mantis seem well suited to be able to take. Cash unlocks in the round after that, and that's the very final round without going to overtime here. We actually haven't seen overtime on this channel, at least. Bravo has seen a whack of it over that Reciprocity Fnatic match, and now also here. So, interesting. One thing to note about tactical timeouts as well, just in case you're not familiar with how they work, you're allowed to call 1 per map. So, theoretically, there's no harm in a team calling 1.
Right.
But the other thing, too, is it allows your opponent to catch their breath, because both teams are capable of talking to each other during that break.
And it is advantageous for both, all things considered. I think it just breaks the momentum for no one in particular, and there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but it is a bit of a gamble, depending on your situation. I think it's a good timing there for Mantis, though, to call this one. And they will be going, again, back downstairs. Bottom floor, considered to be the best site to defend on this map. Now, getting to defend the basement, and then later Cash, again, puts Mantis in a great spot. That could be potentially the only 2 defenses they need. So they win here, go up to Cash, win there, and it's done. Match over. We'll go on to the second map of the series. But that's still not a guarantee. So,
10 seconds left.
so the defense starting to set themselves up. They've got the drop downs reinforced, and I wonder if they're going to get the stock one. We saw G2 decide not to, but yeah, hey, look at that. Mantis will get the stock drop.
Good
to see that throwness.
IQ again brought from Kanto Ricchetti means that at least we'll be able to find the Valkyrie cameras. They'll be able to find the Valkyrie cameras if they need to, which obviously will help. Both teams have utilized the Navy SEAL operators so effectively. And there you go, the Valkyrie camera that was tossed onto the main light, just in main lobby, or in bar rather, gets taken down.
It's a pretty predictable one. Seen it a lot. IQ very useful as well because you can clear out the Valkyrie cams no matter where they are, really.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't even really matter, I think, where you put the Valkyrie camera. In bar or stock, it's going to get found by that sensor.
Yeah, there's not a lot of great places to hide it there. But, yeah, especially, again, as you said, with the IQ.
Yeah.
No pulse being played here, and would be useful for information, but since the IQ's there, it would probably be countered really quickly, so that's good to see for Mantis. A lot of soft destruction on G2's side of things, and they're going to start opening up inside a kitchen. This could be impact tricked, though, and it will be impact tricked. That's a great job to Envy. Lots of soft armory walls means that Kanto Ricchetti could get a pretty easy kill here spraying into B. He's playing with fire, certainly, but at the same time, he is going to force Envy to fall back. And he's used all his impacts, so there's no more tricking available, but still.
G2 are typically a team that takes a while to be able to get their executes under them, but they have been doing so well when they just get aggressive and very quick to the punch. There you have Fabian getting the very first kill onto Nelio, just over by the stairs leading down to blue. That's exactly where Fabian is going to remain, at least for the time being. Another Valkyrie camera gets spotted, and this might be a position where Mantis is going to be blind outside of the yokai drones. Pengu gets some information as to some feet being played over by boxes. He sees the Legion, the Telltale cargo shorts. Ooh. Two very accurate shots. Will take about half of Envy Taylor's life away. There's Pengu capitalizing on a Nova now, and Kanto reads it well. Complete control of Arsenal for the time being. In G2's favor is all of Mantis will have to battle outside of Church. They'll be praying that they'll be able to pull it off. There's a rotate upstairs, though. This is an opportunity for somebody from Mantis to be able to get back in, but no. Envy gets picked apart, and Fabian having a banger of a match. And a round in particular, as he grabs 3 kills, Pengu grabs the other 2, and it's business as usual for G2. They're all tied up at 5 apiece. We still have 2 more rounds to go here. A good comeback.
Beautiful clear there from G2. Some amazing shots being hit, especially by Pengu in that round. And, well, that should have been a Mantis FPS round. Again, defending the basement, but G2 managed to persevere. A big mistake being pulled there from Mantis, and that they did not reinforce any of the Arsenal walls. We see a lot of teams make the same mistake, though. And some will say it's preference. You know, sometimes you can leave it soft and you can play aggressive in Arsenal and you can deny people, for example, thermiting the church wall. But honestly, usually when you see those unreinforced walls, it just affords the attackers more options, as they can now attack in through that wall from the main hallway. Just open it from above using Buck and you're in. It's easy. And that's exactly what happened there for G2. They opened up Arsenal wall, they opened the drop down, they executed. Nobody to stop them because there were no tools being utilized to do just that. And yeah, pretty easy clear there. G2 is in a really great position to win that outright, and they did not fail that time around. So it's going to be cash defense here from Mantis. They're not going to bash their heads against the basement until they get the win. And I think that's the right call in this scenario. We're back to even, though.
I think it's absolutely the right call. You know, you go to church after you make it work the first time, doesn't work out, all right, cool, but you're still perfect on cash. You might as well give cash a whirl, because even if you go down to church on this particular round for a second time and you win, you're likely going to go to cash and CCTV next.
Attackers have located a bomb.
So, like I said, I think it's the right call to make overall. Looking at the way that Mantis has played this, and oh no, Nelio! Not only are you going to get the opening frag in 30 seconds, but Fabian's also going to be able to grab your phone.
That's unfortunate.
Intel in the hands of G2 now. Good thing for Mantis is they don't have a Valkyrie, so you're actually not getting anything. There's no Maestro, there's no bulletproof cameras on any of these operators, and you can't hack the yokais.
Yeah.
So getting that cam, all it does is grab the defaults. That's it.
Potentially they could be useful, but it'll be called out, and all the default cams will be shot by the defenders, so it's very unlikely. That's a good pick there from Fabian. You see Jonas downstairs in stock, and he's just doing his best to try and denied the bandit tricking, but actually he won't be successful in that attempt as Eddie goes for that bandit battery and he gets it down on the floor.
Bomb has been located.
Phone calls buzzing out. Jonas looking to do some damage again from below. There goes a yokai drone. The IQ has been paying off quite a lot here. Cantor Raketti playing it to perfection.
Yeah. Good bug play from Jonas as well. It looked like one of the Mantis players got on top of the cash table. Cantor Raketti waiting to see if there's going to be a push from construction. Jonas still below. And this is a pinch onto Mantis on 2 different levels. Invitational is essentially a dead man at this point. One body inside of garage, one body inside of CCTV, and one at the top of red stairs. So fairly spread out for Mantis, and a little worrisome. They don't really have good presence. That's a C4 that gets tossed out from Hetty, once again completely blind, and there's nobody on the other side to receive it at all. Not
good presence and not good information here from Mantis. The phone calls are going to disrupt Sweet Black, and he's trying to answer his phone while it's, oh wow, what a sweep from G2. That's it. Just like that, 1 phone call and a rush from all of G2. The round is over, and we go to match points in G2's favor.
This is the G2 that we're used to seeing.
This is the G2 we're used to seeing, yeah, and they woke up in the second half, certainly.
It's a bit of a struggle there at the start, but since then it's been all according to plan. Mantis winning this round sends us to overtime. Like we said, Michael, we haven't seen one so far between these teams.
You and I haven't.
You and I have not.
Yes.
As we're now in our 3rd match in a row.
Yeah. It's a good one. Mantis versus G2. I mean,
it's been the closest match all day.
Guys, we saw Nip versus FaZe and Rogue versus SSG, and Mantis FPS versus G2 is the closest of the day for us.
Just as everyone predicted.
Exactly.
Just as everyone predicted.
You all thought it was going to happen, and here it is. Absolutely bonkers. All right, so it's going to be a Rook being bought here from Sweet Black. It's interesting.
Not a dog. He's earned it. He's got 9 kills.
Yeah.
He's earned the dog pick.
Yeah, but a Rook, I guess. Rook is one of those operators that he's just always useful, I guess. His utility isn't amazing, but it's always there. And unless somebody gets really lazy and doesn't pick up the armor, then he's affecting the round no matter what. And that's, I guess, one of the things that makes him
5 seconds to insertion.
a powerful pick, I guess.
Promoted to Rook, I guess.
I don't know, dude. In Pro League, I wouldn't say that he's necessarily all that useful. He is, to an extent, that he guarantees the downs, right? But I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about the Rook. I guess it's just a comfort pick for Mantis.
Yeah. Once again, G2 will make brisk work of entering into the building. This is something that, like we said, their play has risen alongside their aggressiveness. A lot of teams talk about the QEC shift that we have. Q and E referring to the 2 keys that you use to lean left and right, default of course, and C being your default crouch key. A lot of action involved when you're basically, all right, Cantor Raketti making a lot of Canto confetti with that ground there, but not being able to get the camera underneath it.
You should have said the Canto camera ready.
Has been dropped.
It would have really rounded
that's
it
a
out.
really good one.
Yeah.
Canto camera ready.
Canto Raketti making some Canto confetti, but not able to get the Canto camera ready.
This is all scripted, so I mean, we're going to have to go back in time.
Yeah, we'll edit it in.
We'll go back.
Doesn't matter.
Anyway, the QEC meta, or the QEC strats that a lot of people talk about right now, is essentially the leaning and crouching up and down, yada, yada, yada. And aggressiveness pays off really, really well. But we haven't really seen that much aggressiveness from G2.
Yeah.
And here we finally have it. Back downstairs to church as Cash didn't work out. Final round of regulation, and one of 2 things happens. Either number 1, G2 prevails, and we move on to map number 2, which is Coastline, or we go to overtime.
Cantor Raketti inside of Tunnel, and he's doing his best to win the fight against the Rook. That's Sweet Black, but this is a really hard angle to take for anyone, to be honest. It's definitely going to come down to that reaction speed and who's peeking the angle at the right moment and who is the one caught off guard. And both these players know of their positions. They're just trying their best to get the advantageous position. No projectiles to be used, or no throwables to be used from either of these players. Just going to come down to the gunfight, and a bad peek from Sweet Black, and Cantor Raketti comes out on top.
And 1 minute left, and we are once again just so very close to getting G2 into sight. They are right there. Fabian just missing the head of the Jaeger, relying on Canto, who'll pick up a big kill, looks for a transfer. Fabian, turn around. There's the Jaeger, but he can't land the shots. Invitational's there. 2 for Invitational. His teammate's down as Goga will finish him off, and it's going to be a 1v1. Envy Taylor versus Goga with 30 seconds to go. Will the Spaniard be able to do more than just plant, as a lot of people say? Envy Taylor appears to have the information, and the diffuser going down. That's a 7-second timer, and that can seem like eternity. Goga trying to bait it out, and Impact will go in. Oh, and Envy Taylor, the masterful clutch, and overtime awaits us between the teams. Goga unable to get the final shots, and what a play from Mantis.
That impact was essential in the outcome of the gunfight. If you don't know, the impact grenades can really disorient you and throw your screen into a furious shake. And exactly that happened. You saw Goga went for the perfect pre-fire, but he was unable to land the shots. Why? Because he was impacted. The engagement is going to be so fast that that shake will cause you to lose a fight, and that is massive.
It also does a lot of damage.
It does do
on
a
a
lot of
2
damage,
armor,
yeah.
I think it's about 40 to 50
Around
damage,
there.
depending on how close to you it actually hits.
That one was probably about 30, 40.
Could have been close. Goga was already a little bit lower on HP, wasn't full HP, so definitely needed for Envy Taylor to be able to win that. Like we said at the onset of this, Envy Taylor is one of the most clutch players, and probably one of the best players in all of APAC. He definitely deserves that praise.
Yeah.
And would you look at that? 2 defenses.
Yeah, so
Mantis.
Mantis are going to get defense on OT first. That is huge. The fact they get to go downstairs is going to give them a strong advantage. But this is big as well, because
Is it a big butt, Michael?
I tried to avoid it sounding like that, Parker, but you just... Anyway, so Mantis get to defend basement twice in a row, but G2 have come very close to winning these attacks into the basement, I have to be honest. We saw them win it actually once, just a while prior, and they came into a one-on-one for the previous round. So it's not a foregone conclusion that Mantis is going to take this. And I'm really interested to see what G2 is going to bring.
G2 plays so well when they get really aggressive.
That's
and
true.
They've been able to just waltz on in. Because I don't, like Mantis, when they play on attack, they don't have the most information, they don't have the best information available. And this is G2 essentially having to play Mantis's game right now. G2 have had to throw out their strat book, and they've had to just get really brazen in the face of adversity. And look at this, 30 seconds to go, and Kanto is already at the bottom of the stairs. Great position, taking some damage from Agumine, as he'll stop for just a moment to pull it out, but my mind, once again, G2 so close to being able to pull off and execute, barring, what, a hard destructor getting to that wall.
Again, no reinforcements on the Arsenal wall. You gotta imagine that's gonna be called, and Jonas is going to open up that wall from above in the kitchen hallway. Once that gets opened up, they can rotate into Arsenal. But that is, again, dependent on Jonas going for that play. Currently, he's focused on pushing people out of Arsenal. Totally reasonable strategy, but it's going to be Goga to get the shot onto Sweet Black. He also thermites Church Wall. This is an old strategy. The shotgun doesn't work out for Hetty. Goga with a double. Kantarukudi's going to add to the body count, and it's just 2 defenders left. The plant is going down on default. That's by Black Box. Elio inside of Blue is doing his best to hold on to this position, but it's not going to matter. No influence here from that position, and he will be finally shut down by Fabian, leaving just Nova in a 1 versus 5. It would be incredible if he makes it happen, but it seems unlikely. He'll get 1, goes for 2, almost lands the shots there onto Goga, but misses too many crucial ones, and Jonas will shut him down. G2 take a quite definitive win on a basement attack.
And now they'll go on to defense themselves with good coordination. Do you see how fast that was from G2? Oh,
What?
that's
not supposed to happen.
That's not
how it works.
We are all Fabian's face right now.
So
We are all Fabian's face.
So there will be a rehost. There will be a rehost. It has been called, and we'll get a new match together. But the match is not over. It's not over. It does not end on 7-6. That's not a thing that happens.
I feel like you threw some like Curb Your Enthusiasm music over top of Fabian's face there.
Yeah.
The memes are making themselves, boys.
Yep. Not exactly sure what just happened.
We haven't needed an overtime.
It must have been.
We haven't needed an OT.
Yeah. That's probably why.
Some of these teams have barely needed all 7 rounds
Yeah.
in order to get to this point. So anyway.
So apparently it was actually a bug, straight up. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
Happens from time to time.
Happens.
That's okay. We'll get back into it. So, at least for the time being, you know that G2 is going to start on defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it's going to be Mantis on defense if we need to go to another one.
Okay.
But you got to do a bit of a breakdown on what just happened and how fast it was. Every single round that G2 was playing on attack, the major downsides to their strategies were that they were taking a while to drone. They were communicating with each other. They were trying to pin down exactly where Mantis is. But when they decided to shelve that and just literally start sprinting in through windows, short drone, oh, this area is clear, let's just go in, let's just start taking fights. That's when the tide really started to turn.
Yeah.
And after that happened, Mantis only won a singular round. That was it. In comparison to 4 for G2. And a big part of that, Michael, was the changes that G2 made. And they're basically forced to play Mantis's game. But it's kind of strange because Mantis are losing at their own game to this new adaptation on it that G2's bringing.
I think the only reason it was working out for them potentially is because it was catching G2 off guard. I mean, if you make the adjustment, then anything is possible. And G2 is one of those teams you really just can't count out. So I'm not terribly surprised by what's happening right now. But, again, I'm still very impressed by Mantis. No matter how you look at it, it is just impressive that they've managed to bring it as far as they have. And I want to see more from them. I'm honestly crossing my fingers for map 3. No matter what the result, I want to see a third match.
I would as well.
Or third map out of this series.
I would love to see the way that these two teams play Oregon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Definitely. I think that would be... Oregon's one of those really interesting maps, especially when you have 2 aggressive teams. And if Mantis is setting the tempo and they're going to continue to be aggressive on Oregon, it'd be more interesting than anywhere else. I mean, Clubhouse is kind of the anti to the mindset that is what Mantis is bringing. So, yeah. Oregon would be really interesting.
While we're awaiting the rehost to get set back up and to go back on into the game, we do have an update on our other matchup that is occurring over on twitch.tv/Rainbow6Bravo.
Mm-hmm.
And Immortals are currently leading 4-3. So they are trailing right now. Empire won the very first game between the two of them, 8-6, in what has been the toughest challenge that I think Empire's had all season, actually. And then you look at now Immortals are leading the way, rather, because plural words can be difficult, Michael.
I understand, Parker.
We see that Immortals have the lead for the time being. Keep in mind that we are also well ahead of schedule on this stream. As we mentioned, we are almost done our very first map. This is only, that Immortals Empire game is only the second matchup on that channel. And we are almost halfway done this, depending on what happens in this match, and if we even need a third map.
We might not. It's entirely possible this is going to be a 2-0, although that would be unfortunate for, I think, most viewers. This has been such an interesting match so far. Now, we're just waiting to see what's going to actually happen. But in the meantime, all of these teams, you can see, they're going to be able to run over what's been going on thus far in the match and correct any mistakes because they have, this is basically an extended tactical pause for both teams, and that's massive.
No, and that's really, like, when these types of rehosts happen or these types of situations, obviously you want the game to continue to go on, but the teams can at least gain something from this. And the real winner here is Mantis, in my opinion.
I agree.
You now have an entire timeout, essentially, as you said, to be able to discuss, possibly with your coach, and be able to formulate exactly what's going to happen. G2 is going to be on defense. You're going to be on attack.
I am?
Well, I was talking about if I was speaking for Mantis.
Am I playing for Mantis now?
No.
Okay, good.
But basically, Mantis has a lot of opportunity to be able to come up with attacking strats and really figure out exactly what they're going to do. Now, it would be better if they were on defense, because then they'd be in control of their own destiny, so to speak. But, you know, G2 can go to any site they want. G2 can go to bar stock and completely catch them off guard.
Don't think they would do that, but they could, yeah.
I mean, I think it's unlikely as well.
Yeah. Barstock, of course, being a site that is considered to be the least viable on this map. And then you've got 2 really great sites on the top floor and then 1 amazing site on the bottom floor. Why would you go to bar in the middle floor? This doesn't seem to make sense for most people.
Catch them off guard.
I still don't think you can do that.
It wouldn't surprise me if we saw a cache CCTV defense to start things off with G2.
Wouldn't surprise me either.
You know, teams have figured out cache CCTV, and they figured out Jim and Master. And when Clubhouse first emerged onto the scene after its changes, cache and CCTV seemed almost unwinnable for a period of time.
for
It
the
was
attackers.
just so strong. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Jim Master as well, when you used to be able to impact trick the jacuzzi wall.
Yeah, when you could impact trick that wall, it was ridiculous.
That was a very strong
It was the best sight.
I would be inclined to agree.
Yeah, we had a lot of people who, I mean, it started as cash. People were really into cash. And then once they figured out, oh, hey, yeah, we can impact trick this wall. By the way, that was around when impact tricking became a thing. But once they figured they could impact trick the jacuzzi wall, I mean, Jim became the go-to. People were like, whoa, all right. They can't come from an entire flank. That's one whole direction isolated for the attackers and denied outright.
Also, while we have an opportunity, and he's on screen there, you saw Jeebus, the Australian ANZ admin, standing next to Shas, the coach of G2. And it's Jeebus' debut on an international stage, working as a referee/ESL admin. It's always nice to have new faces. Obviously, he's not new to his scene, but definitely worthy of some praise. Flew all the way. His arms must be very tired. I just wanted to get that out. There we go. I'm done.
It's out now.
I don't need to say that again.
You don't need to say it anymore.
I don't need to say it anymore.
Anyway,
one
welcome,
time.
welcome, Jeebus. It's good to have you.
Jeebus, yes.
So,
nice guy.
Yeah, we've had a very slow match so far, but G2 seem to be picking up speed, and I think that it's very likely that they're going to be able to continue with this momentum moving forward. Again, I talked about it earlier. G2 is one of those teams that you just cannot count out. At no point can you say, oh yeah, they're down this many rounds. No, it's over. And I think because of that, we're going to have a close one, not only in this map as we already have, but moving forward onto map 2, potentially map 3, hopefully map 3. No matter who you're a fan of, I think this is just going to be a good one no matter what.
You also can't count them out when they're in 2vx's, 1vx's, etc.
Yeah, in the middle of the round.
I feel like the entire Paris Major, EG, would open up an early lead in terms of manpower, and then it wouldn't go anywhere.
Right.
Because even if they're up by 2 bodies, G2 still managed to execute and stick to a strat. So we'll see exactly what happens as everybody gets into the lobby and we get things underway with this match in the very final round here.
Yeah. Hopefully soon. We've got everyone, again, just using this opportunity to communicate with each other and get themselves ready for the next round. Because it's a known quantity, and that is G2 will be starting on defense. It's going to be something that Mantis is going to need to really plan out. And we saw that last round, for example, from G2. That was a really well-orchestrated attack, and I think it was pretty... I think G2 was just trying to open up as much as possible and take as many fights as possible. I don't think there was any really core strat to it, because the way they were attacking, they opened up Arsenal wall, they opened up the kitchen drop down, they opened up the church wall. They opened pretty much everything. And they pushed from everywhere. They even opened up the tunnel. And G2 took all the opportunities that they were afforded. But it didn't seem to be amazingly well coordinated. It was just like, hey, let's open as much as we can. Hey, by the way, looks like we have a match.
We're ready.
Yay.
To see if there's going to be a conclusion here between these two teams. So get excited. Are you ready? Because we're ready. Could be our final round between Mantis and G2 Esports. Keep in mind, G2 won a round away. They will sit on match point, overtime match point, mind you. It'll be G2 starting on defense.
Looks like they're going to be going to the basement, so
I was wrong.
What's that? What were you wrong about?
I said I wouldn't be surprised to see them go cash or church.
Oh,
it's tough to speak sometimes.
Well, they are going to church, so going to be that basement hold. You're half right, in a way, I guess. And seeing an interesting lineup here from G2. Again, Kanto Kitty bringing the alibi, and that's likely to roam, as we've seen him do before. The roam for G2 is hit and miss, and I think it mostly has to do with how Mantis FPS goes for the clear. Are they going to be droning for each other, or are they just going to try and dry peek things? And it's dangerous when you face check, but some people will do it more often than not, and we've been seeing that a lot from Mantis again when they were on their attacking half.
I feel like Kanto gets left to die
10 seconds remaining.
a lot when he plays.
I don't know. I think they support him fairly well, but he does get left alone on an island. But
he's been much more effective on attack than he was on defense, though.
Yeah,
I think part of it is the lack of support, and also the way he's been playing. He's been basically holding down Cash, CCTV, and Garage as alibi.
I think they're leaving him a rope, but they're not necessarily committing to isolating his retreat. I don't think they're leaving him an avenue to fall back to the site as much as they are like, hey, if you can climb this, then congratulations, you'll make it back to the site. And, I mean, we've seen a couple times where, like, for example, Fabian or Pengu will come up from the basement to support Kanto Raketti to fall back. Remember that garage play that we saw where Kanto got the fadeaway, for example?
Bomb located by attackers.
So, I mean, it's definitely, they'll try to support him, but he is left alone sometimes. And much like what looks like Jonas is actually by Billiards right now.
It looked like the Thermite was going to look away for a second there, but this is so aggressive, and it doesn't look like there's anybody to support Jonas either. If Mantis read this appropriately, then Jonas maybe takes one body down, but he's gone.
Yeah.
There's nobody from G2 to trade him off.
I don't think they droned that. No, they might have droned it. I think it was Nova droning himself in. Yeah, you can see the drone there by the coat rack. So I was worried that Jonas was going to get a free kill because no droning, but droning did happen, and now it's Mantis who get the free kill. Kanto Raketti going to be going for a play here by the main stairs, and his alibi is actually going to spot some players.
I was going to say, due to perspective, Kanto will win that fight because the Thermite that was playing down by pool would need to get a lot closer up in order to see the head of Kanto, whereas Kanto would have seen the head of the Thermite first.
There's so much commitment to roaming here from G2 right now, and they've already lost one player because of that commitment. You've got Fabian playing inside of the bathroom, and he's just hoping nobody drones him, and honestly, it might be the case. Kanto Raketti challenging someone on cash stairs, and he comes out on top. That's Nova eating some damage. Fabian gives away his position by standing up. Bucko is aware now, but he looks in the wrong corner! A free kill for Fabian, a huge misplay for Sweet Black, and a lack of droning for Mantis FPS.
And one of the best players as well from Mantis now off the board, and all that soft destruction, need I remind you that the site is downstairs.
Yep.
You need that buck to patrol the kitchen with those frag grenades on Moto. Not good and not ideal. As C4 will open up a hole, and Fabian just sees the legs of the IQ. Nelio takes out Goga, and they're looking for another capitalization. Pengu will take out Nelio, and it's back to a 3v3 as G2 can retreat, knowing there's only 30 seconds left. Now Hetty does hold on to that diffuser, so Mantis is in a position to possibly break into the site, and they can just try to get a plant down, but Pengu knows there are two bodies over by Arsenal, or at least one. He gets droned out. He'll call for the cavalry, and there's Kanto coming to the rescue along with Fabian from above. Hetty will be extremely vulnerable, attempting to get the defuse down, but there's a jump. Invitational cuts down Fabian, and it's a successful plant, but Pengu, the heroics, takes out Hetty, takes out Invitational, and it will be an easy disable as Pengu gets all the glory, and we'll move to map 2 with G2 winning 8-6.
About as close as it gets there, ladies and gentlemen, but G2 persevere, and it's definitely going to be one to rewatch moving forward. And we'll go to, as you said, map 2. That's just the beginning of this matchup, potentially not even half of it, but we'll see. We'll see. I believe it's Coastline as our map number 2, if I'm not mistaken, and that's going to be a really good one for these teams.
Now, Coastline tends to be a map that a lot of APAC teams excel on. A lot. And that leaves Oregon as our third as well. So there's a really interesting way that this match could end up turning out. If Mantis ends up being as proficient as a lot of their regional counterparts on Coastline, this map could end up being very similar to what we saw from Clubhouse, which is that it will go the distance.
That's entirely possible, and I think it is probable. So, see, once we actually get to it. But that first map, wow, we got a lot out of it. I mean, again, no matter what, Mantis did lose it, but man, it was an impressive loss. And that's weird to say, but it's true.
Let's be honest, it should not have been that close, though. Like,
no,
not at all.
Definitely not.
G2 threw a number of early rounds away, and they were able to right the ship. They turned that ship around right at the nick of time, but still, both teams could have easily taken that. Could have very easily been a win in the column of Mantis.
I mean, we're talking about G2 making a lot of mistakes. Mantis started making a lot of their own going into the second half of that match. And definitely worth noting that were a lot of free kills given away mainly. And here's, I think, the biggest problem for Mantis FPS was their absolutely abysmal droning.
Yes.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, they got away with a lot of those engagements just because they're really good at gunfights. But if Mantis FPS combines the fact that they're good at gunfights with somebody droning for them, you gotta imagine that this might have just been a straight up Mantis match, like without even contest.
They won so many rounds just off of sheer fragging ability.
Yeah.
The ability to just out-duel, they would find themselves in positions where G2 would get the jump on them. They would return fire better than they got it tossed their way. So see how much raw mechanical ability will matter on Coastline, but Coastline is one of G2's best maps. Coastline was the map where G2 won the Invitational World Championship, as you would call it,
Yep.
last year. And it's a map that G2 consistently excels at. So we'll test the idea that Mantis is as good on Coastline as they've already got tough competition against one of the best teams, if not the best team in the whole world. And the other thing with Coastline, we didn't really touch on utility usage in this particular matchup, but Mantis were routinely putting their hard breachers in the line of fire.
Yeah.
On Coastline, you need to hold your utility.
Not just their hard breachers, but I mean, remember when the Buck was getting picked off? I mean, Buck would be really useful to have when attacking the bottom floor of Clubhouse. There was, in general, the utility from Mantis was not well utilized.
No.
Period.
And on Coastline, I think you need utility quite a bit because usually the defenders will try to open up walls, they'll open up floors, and you need to be able to flush them out. Buck is a particularly strong operator. Glaz can end up being a very strong operator. There's ample shield play as well as on Coastline as there could be on Clubhouse. Zofia and Capitao, both exceptionally good operators. And then if you want to bring a smoke operator that's not Capitao, you've got Jackal available to you. You've got Dokkaebi, who's run exclusively by G2 in that matchup. If they can't use their utility, then Mantis might find themselves in a really bad spot and in really bad shape heading into this match.
It's definitely something that Mantis FPS are going to need to improve upon moving forward. But I think it's not just it's utility usage, it's the droning. The gunfights, Mantis has got down. They win those. But that's not enough. It just isn't. G2 also started to win their fights quite substantially moving into that second half again on Clubhouse. So when they take away what's really been working out for you, it puts you in a corner. I mean, that's what we saw. That's what we witnessed when we had G2 winning quite a lot of matches there. I mean, they won 5 out of 6 total and when G2 started to really wake up.
You think aggressiveness is going to matter more on a map like Clubhouse or on a map like Coastline?
That's tricky to say. I mean, you know, conventional wisdom would say Coastline.
Agreed.
Conventional wisdom. But I think that because it's so unpredictable on Clubhouse, that's why Mantis got a lot of those early rounds, if we're being honest. Again, one really good example that I would reference is the Legion playing in Arsenal, peeking main stairs from the right side of Arsenal door, crouch level. I mean, the only reason Fabi didn't win that fight is because he didn't expect anyone to be taking that angle, because that's a really bad angle to play. And that's not the only, you know, senselessly aggressive play that we saw from both teams. You know, because as soon as G2 realized it was what's happening, they started adjustment, and they did the same thing. And it worked for them now once they were committed. But, yeah, I don't know. I think it worked on Clubhouse. I don't know how it's going to work on Coastline. I think because it's such a shallow map, you have to be aggressive as a defender, and it becomes predictable. And because of that, Mantis won't have the unpredictability working for them.
Also, I think a lot of it, too, was that unpredictability just happening at the start of the game.
Yeah, it's gone now.
G2 are able to make that course correction, knowing how Mantis plays, knowing that the drone usage on Mantis' side of things is not really that strong, knowing that G2 can get away with pulling crazy stunts like sprinting into the site in the first minute of the match, the first minute of the round as well. But with that said, speculation aside, it can only get us so far. Let's head to Spain, and we'll go to Coastline for our second match. Michael, we have not seen a map 3 yet. I know we want to see one between G2 and Mantis.
Yep.
But we'll have very first ban, and it's going to be G2 banning Montaigne.
And they've done this before. They did it in the first match, and not surprising that they're going to do it on this one here.
Might need a rehost on sides, still trying to determine.
It looks like it, but we'll find out.
It is likely. We'll await an admin call on that one. All right, so that is indeed the case. So no ban, that's a bold move. See if it pays off.
I don't think that was not going to be a commitment. I don't even know that the Montaigne's going to be a commitment at this point. We started on the wrong sides, which means the whole thing is messed up. The ban order is messed up.
It'll be redone. It's okay.
So it'll be redone, and we'll see exactly what happens.
Yeah.
When we actually get into the match.
It's so weird to look at a map like Clubhouse and then look at Coastline because there's very little that transfers over. Clubhouse, you're going to need to almost always run 2 hard breachers. It's very common for Clubhouse to see hard breacher bans. You know, Maverick might get banned. You might see a Hibana get banned. You might see a Thermite get banned.
We did see Maverick banned.
We did see the Maverick ban. Coastline plays out so differently. Usually not going to have a hard breacher ban because half the teams don't run hard breachers on Coastline.
Sometimes.
Maybe a Maverick at best.
Hibana maybe?
Maybe Hibana.
But
usually no hard breacher ban, right? We already know that there's going to be a Montaigne ban coming out from G2, but that could also change because G2 is actually going to have the second ban when we go back into it. They just play so differently. I agree with you. I think Coastline is so much more susceptible to aggression than Clubhouse. It's not usual for teams to roam on Clubhouse the way that G2 did, to commit so much of a presence on the main floor and that second floor when defending Church. Coastline, you're going to have a lot of people roaming.
Yeah, and it's to be expected and to be countered, and it's in the meta, which means that it's in G2's wheelhouse. And I think that it's going to hurt Mantis. We did talk about, though, earlier how APAC is, in general, as a region, tends to excel at Coastline, so maybe that will play in here. I do think, though, that... I don't know. Overall, it's going to be a close one. At least that's my expectation. But it's. I don't want to predict it. I don't want to even try. Honestly, I just want to let it happen because I would not have predicted going to 8-6 on Clubhouse. I did not see that coming. I mean, most people going into that match thinking to themselves, "Oh, hey, G2's probably going to take that."
Yeah.
That's the expectation going into it. And yeah, they did end up making map number 1, but it was very close. And again, Mantis could have won it at any moment.
So, another update for you as we hear the shouting in the background, and you might be hearing it as well. Immortals now are on match point against Team Empire on map number 2.
Oh, yeah.
Could possibly see another third map on that channel. Need I remind you that that's only their second match.
And we're here on match number 3. G2 versus Mantis. When we get to it, it'll be EG versus Lestream, I believe, as the final match for this stream. This stream here, but not total.
Not in total.
Probably.
Not the final match for Lestream.
The stream, yeah.
Lestream.
I know, but
this is EG. Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta get all my jokes out in the group stages.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the appropriate time.
Okay.
So, all right, everything looks to be good. Sides are correct, and Mantis will actually get the very first ban. G2 had used it on a Montaigne. That actually gives Mantis a bit of a benefit here.
A lot of information.
Because Mantis knows that a Montaigne ban might be coming out. Mantis will ban Glaz, though. Take him off the board. G2 very quick on theirs. Will be another Monty ban?
Probably.
Yes, it sure will.
So every single map that we have casted so far today has been Maestro and Mira.
Everyone.
Every single one. So are we going to see an upset to that formula? Yes, we are. Valkyrie is gone. G2, the ones to change the formula. I love it. Valkyrie eliminated. She's a very powerful operator. She effectively can force your opponent onto IQ. And the fact that Echo is gone as well means that IQ, while useful, will not be an essential pick for anyone in this match. Or at least this map. So, good job. I like what we're seeing here. It is definitely a mix-up.
We could possibly still see an IQ for Mute.
It's just not essential.
Legion. Yeah, I agree with you there.
Like, when you've got an Echo in play and a Valkyrie to boot, like, you need to bring an IQ.
The other thing, too, is that because you don't need to run a hard breacher on Coastline, you have a spot open for just about whatever you want. Bring a good gun, maybe bring some intel, who knows?
Yeah.
Right now, the soft destructive capabilities on G2 side of things are astonishing.
I mean, rightfully so. In this situation.
And I mean, Goga's going to move on to Hibana. So there we go. We will actually see a hard breacher be rolled out from G2, something that teams kind of flip back and forth on.
I think having the hard breach and not needing it is better than not having it and needing it. And there are some situations on this map where you do need a little bit of hard breach. Attacking Penthouse is a lot easier with hard breach.
And here's where the hard breach is actually going to come in quite handy. Just over by Hetty, you see the double reinforced walls on Blue Bar that lead into the office. Downstairs, you can use Hibana to open up that wall quite easily. You can also use the XKROS on the wall above, right where Sweet Black is reinforcing. It leads into Pink. Possibly put pressure because you're usually going to have somebody playing up in hookah or around hookah on the defensive side of things. So a good flex from G2 to take the Hibana, I think. And it'll certainly pay a lot greater dividends than going with a Thermite, for example, or a Maverick. And a lot of that is aided by the fact that Hibana's XKROS have a range to them.
They do. So it's going to be a defense of the double bar, but mostly held from above, or so it seems, as you've got a lot of roamers upstairs. Actually, right now, not a lot, just 2. But a lot of utility commitment on the top floor. And so it can be a little bit deceptive, and it's likely going to prompt G2 to invest quite heavily themselves in taking upstairs. They have the sledge, so they're counting on being able to open up from above, use that hammer to open the floor, and thus the ceiling of the defenders. But they have to get control of above first. And they're not even going to save the Excaros for opening up the office from the south. They're just going to open up over by pink. And I think that's a little bit, it's a heavy expense for G2. But I understand why they're doing it. And if they can get top floor control from it without losing too many bodies, it'll be worth.
There's 2 bodies, of which are currently in hookah. That was information that G2 had at their disposal. But Jonas, what are you doing? There you go. Neilio will start things off, takes out Fabian. He's playing inside a hookah. That's the Dokkaebi that gets cut off of the wire, just by the double window. Look at this. Kanto just walks right in, reunited with the old familiar on the Ash. He'll just punish Sweet Black. Unless G2 is doing adequate drone work, hookah still very much has 2 bodies in it. And they're just relaxing. Prone currently waiting as Pengu holds the angle towards the back of hookah.
G2 is well aware of the position of these 2 defenders, and they're just trying to isolate them and strangle them out of that position. Dropdown could be opened up, and they could rotate back, and it looks like they have done exactly that. It probably impacted it and ran away. So, yeah, a huge amount of time being wasted here from the defense, and that's a great job. G2 has yet to drone out hookah following that rotation, and they have no idea that there's no one left in that position. They still think there might be bodies there.
I wonder how many of...
Looks like they've figured it out.
I wonder how much of this just simply has to do with the fact that these mute jammers have, been able to claim so many different drones here. Beautiful shot from Nova onto Jonas, all the way downstairs, heading in towards security. As Pengu's going to sledge away at the ceiling, trying to take as much of the resource that is so indispensable to the defenders away from them. Hetty picks up a kill for Mantis as well, so that'll be an even larger lead, holding it at a 4v2, as Hetty claims a second soul, and that's going to be Kanto Raketti. Leaving just Pengu upstairs, who will now have to push in towards the site with only 30 seconds to go. Nobody playing on the doorway. He'll take out the alibi clone. He doesn't have that diffuser. It's going to have to be a pure frag fest here. But Pengu's not going to look the right way. There's 2 bodies playing underneath the drop hatch. Pengu's life expectancy is roughly 3 seconds, and he doesn't even quite make it that far. Very first round's going to go to Mantis on a good defense of the double bars.
So, as we saw in map number 1, a very decisive early win for Mantis, and it's no longer surprising to see. Great job for them. I really like the way that they held that top floor. They invested their players in all the right positions, and once they read that they no longer needed to be upstairs, they rotated back. They left themselves a rotation, and G2 were unaware of that rotation for a solid 10-20 seconds, wasting a lot of time.
Ultimately, once again, just too much patience from G2. That's it. They need to be quicker, and once it might take them a couple rounds, but once they are able to figure out that defense or figure out the attack, they can take that ground away from their opponents. They do much better.
Parker, Mantis is running anti-meta. On Clubhouse, they get aggressive. On Coastline, they play passive. They're running anti-meta, and it's cool to see. But as you said, eventually G2 will figure it out. And last time, we didn't see Mantis be able to adjust after they were figured out, and it ended up, yeah, it was a long match. But as soon as G2 were like, oh, hang on, we just need to do this to counter the way they're playing, they were able to adjust. And we saw it happen. I think it was just after, I could be wrong about this. I want to say it was just a little bit after Shaz called his timeout, actually, when G2 started to realize, hey, yeah, if we just get aggressive, play into Mantis' playstyle, then we'll be able to make it happen. Who knows, though? That's just speculation. I can't actually recall. Overall, yeah, a very passive roam there from Mantis, and it ended up wasting so much time that G2, when they rotated to attack the site, they felt rushed, I had to assume. I mean, they lost a lot of odd fights as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and no droning into office. Remember when we saw the Zofia coming from security?
Yes.
No droning. That's what we saw from Mantis. Yeah, from G2 as well.
So, Fabian will get revenge. This time, the very first kill will go in favor of G2. He loses exactly half his HP in the altercation.
He ran out on him.
But he'll walk away, and there goes Sweet Black, and with him, all of the goo mines as well. Nelio's position being given away all the way down by 90 over towards the theater doorway. Nelio doesn't actually take any damage as Kanto is being fed that information. Kanto doesn't have an ACOG available to him, but the Doc does, and say goodbye. Fabian tries to rush on in, and under drone, Nelio still perseveres. It's the Doc playing all the way over by the window, looking out towards the main doorway. Will end up prevailing. All these different punch holes will provide him just a tiny glimpse down in towards the theater side of things, as well as the penthouse side of things. There goes a mirror window. If the Dog pops up at any opportunity, oh! My, Kanto Ricchetti says bye to Nelio. The Dog, goodbye.
What a flick there. And it looks like we're seeing Mantis change gears again. Very aggressive round here so far. I mean, we saw Sweet Black get taken out by Fabian because he was running out. He vaulted, it seemed, out of the main stairs window. That's so odd. Now, it's overall put G2 in a better position. The fact that they've been able to get these kills. But there's potential for a comeback here quite easily for Mantis. They've got some players in really crucial spots. Nova does not have a C4 any longer, but he's playing in main lobby. He has just been spotted out, it seems. Kanto Ricchetti, aware of his position now, is going to try and make a play for him. He has flashes, but it's not going to need them as Jonas will take out Nova because the Pulse was trying to rotate. Bad call there for Nova. And now it's going to force adjustment to the anchors as they have to account for the main lobby. Envy is actually not anchoring. He's playing in Sunrise Bar, but he could get a lot of value out of this position using this punch hole.
Just to be really patient. A beautiful shot to eliminate Zofia of Jonas. But he's going to have to get back in and try to stop the plant, which you can't do. G2's in the midst of getting that diffuser down, and they'll walk away with it after a very early kill from Fabian. Leads to an avalanche of sorts, and they'll equalize. Both teams being at 1 for the time being.
All right, so Kitchen here. Again, for Mantis. They're doubling down. It's dangerous. I mean, not unheard of, not crazy, just dangerous. The way that that round played out, I think it was a lot of bad calls being made by Mantis. That run out, for example, from the Legion of Sweet Black, I have no idea what the heck he was thinking. I mean, that vault, if you commit to the vault, there's no way you're making it back into the building. No universe do you make it back to front door without being punished. So even if he had gotten the kill on Fabian, which he didn't, it would have been a 1-for-1. And I'm really, really confused as to why he made that decision. And then, following that, Nelio got the kill upstairs. Yes, he denied Fabian entry into the main staircase from repelling. But then he kept on the angle play upstairs and was able to be refragged because of that. We saw the Pulse in main lobby, lingering. No C4 in hand, which means he can't utilize the stop destruction. Why not just go back to anchor and support your teammates? You've even got MB Taylor playing by Sunrise Bar. He's waiting for someone to be in main lobby so he can get a baited kill. I don't know, it just seemed like poor coordination from Mantis, poor decision making as well, and G2 were like, hell yeah, we'll take it.
Heck yeah, Michael.
Oh, excuse me, I suppose.
What do we say about swears?
All right.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
So we'll head back to the kitchen, as you noted, and it's even more aggressiveness, but Fabian just shreds Nova. It's only a bullet or two that it took. Jonas gets down, Kanto's there. Envy gets felled, and G2 finds 2 kills in the first 20 seconds. A rapid pace gets set by the European team to eliminate 2 of the Korean Mantis FPS. Looks like an impact might have been opened up, or no, rather. It's going to be an explosive round from the attackers. Nelio peeks, and he has a stim pistol at his disposal. Try to heal himself right back up. He's not too far away from the mirror window, but look at all these bodies well off site for Mantis FPS, Michael. It's half of the map now on that main floor being controlled by G2. It also looked like Sweet Black was playing upstairs, so this is very spread out. At some point, Mantis is going to have to realize they need to get in and get closer. Hetty shreds through Pengu, but Hetty is downed, and Goga, in the midst of getting a plant down, will be successful. Say goodbye to Hetty, the last of him finished off. And we are barely a minute and a half into this round with Sweet Black in a 1v4. It's looking like yet another closeout for G2 here, as the Legion will need to head back to the kitchen and drop down. Now Fabian and Goga both low on HP. Jonas lost a little as well, but it's very easy for G2 just to hold the couple places where you need to drop, one of which being main lobby, and G2 will take their second round.
So there's not much to say about that. Again, you said it. very aggressive play from Mantis FPS, and as soon as Fabian got that early pick, they made the call, hey, we're up a man, let's get aggressive. They got aggressive, and, well, following that aggression, G2 were able to string some kills together and take the round. I mean, there was a fight that was put up by Mantis. If you look back, G2 lost a lot of HP in those engagements. But it didn't matter in the end, as the frags kept rolling in for G2.
Tactical timeout here for Mantis. That's a very early timeout.
I don't think it's a terrible thing, though.
I don't think it's terrible either.
I think it's a good call.
It's very early.
Yeah, it is early, but they've been forced into it. That last round was too decisive to not tactical pause after.
Yeah.
If they allow the ball to keep rolling, it's going to be really tricky for Mantis to win this.
Also worth noting that they've only won 2 rounds since round number 9 of Clubhouse.
It's true.
So
yeah, it's been a while.
It's not even just this game. It might be about regaining composure overall. And speaking of not this game, Michael, we have a result for you from our other match occurring right now on the Rainbow Six Bravo channel. By a score of 2-0, Team Empire will advance and face off against Space Station Gaming tomorrow, while Rogue and Immortals will meet head-on, the loser of which goes home.
That is really something, too, because Immortals is no slouch. They are a fearsome team. The fact that Empire has managed to 2-0 them, and I know it was a close match, round counts coming really, really close, but still, that is very impressive. A statement made by Empire, to be sure. So, here in this match, G2, speaking of statements, that last round certainly was one. It was just G2, G2, G2. And Mantis didn't even show up to the round. It was the most one-sided round I think we've seen in this series so far.
It was a lockout.
Yeah, it was a lockout. Yeah.
But a lot of that also was how disjointed Mantis was.
True, true.
Very similar to what we saw at G2 when G2 was on defense on Clubhouse, a number of rounds where they were just so far removed from each other. Nowhere near close enough to be able to help one another. Obviously, that's a problem. G2 are usually a team who are so good for trades. Mantis, obviously a team of high enough caliber to be able to understand how trades and all of that work, but they've been far too separated so far on Coastline. I'm interested to see how it works on their attack, because I have a feeling we're going to see a very aggressive defense from G2, as G2 has been bringing the fire on attack so far.
So, already into main lobby is Cantor Raketti. He's droning for himself, but he's got others droning other hallways. So this is decent drone efficiency here from G2, and they've adjusted their setup here. They're actually just streaking straight into Office from the south, using their hard destruction there. Last time they attacked under the double bar, it was the first round, and Mantis were able to take it because G2 tried to clear from the top down. Did not work out very well. So G2 have decided to adjust their strategy.
Grenade gets just hucked right in. I'm actually kind of surprised. It looked like from the silhouettes that it should have been able to land there and maybe do some damage. It went off.
Yeah.
But here's the execute. G2 were so quick last time around. Goga fearless, but 2 members of G2 will fall. And we'll see if they'll stick through it. As you say goodbye to Jonas. Oh, Goga comes right off the plant and tears Hetty to smithereens. It's just Fabian and Kanto in a 2v3. One body is prone on behalf of Mantis just by that diffuser. And here comes the logic bomb. Still so much utility. Fabian still has another logic bomb available to be able to chain these together and alert him as to when one member of Mantis will come nearby. He'll just sit in a really nice spot with nobody able to push him. Say goodbye to the mute. Kanto takes out Sweet Black. Fabian's still biding his time. There come the pings, and oh! Fabian gets one. Kanto, one of his own. And it's 3 in a row. That tactical timeout might have centered Mantis a little bit, but overall, it's still a G2 round.
As have the last couple been, including this one, a few, in fact. Very impressive stringing these together for G2. That last round was based purely on the objective play from G2. They did not relent, taking into blue bar, focused entirely on getting that diffuser down. The fact that Goga was able to get it down under cover of smoke, I'm really amazed he wasn't denied. The alibi was right up against him and just couldn't make it happen. Truly an odd situation there for Mantis. Not enough denial in play, and that's curious. I mean, we've got Maestro left unbanned. He was being played in that round. But The Evil Eye not useful enough, I suppose, as it was not used to deny the plant, which is its primary purpose when it all comes down to it.
Sweet Black was one of the unsung heroes of that previous matchup. He's yet to find the scoreboard this time around.
Yep.
With it, the rest of his team have had to carry a little bit extra weight, but outside of that, I don't think fragging potential has really been the issue that's been plaguing Mantis at all so far. It just really
Utility and denial.
Utility denial, not improper use of the utility.
Yeah.
I mean, even look at what's being brought right now. An alibi on Coastline, okay, interesting enough.
5 seconds
You've got a Legion there, be able to slow everything down. If Nova dies early, there goes all of your information. Now keep in mind that Valk and Echo are both banned, and it doesn't look like a Maestro was a very comfortable pick for Mantis, especially not in that previous round at all. Go with the Italian operator
I think
instead, I guess.
I think it's the right pick, but I think you're right as well that it wasn't a comfortable pick because it did not work out very well. Kendrick with an aggressive play into Kitchen, but he's spotted out by the pulse sensor. But oh, what an Ash charge. That's going to catch one person off guard. Hetty goes down without a fight. Poor positioning there from the alibi, and an easy frag for Cantor-Raketti. And the diffuser is being
Excuse
planted
me!
in default spot right now. The diffuser going down. Cantor-Raketti acting as a decoy, and the diffuser is on the floor, ticking away. Nelio will get the first kill for his team, but Goga takes out Nelio at the Sunrise Bar. And also at the Sunrise Bar is Jonas, who has full control of this site in the post plant. Gas canister's going to force him to rotate, but it's probably not going to matter. Nova gets Jonas. Another for Nova. That's 2 for him. Goga gets 2 for himself, though, and it's a back and forth, leaving just Envy Taylor as the last defender. Nowhere near the diffuser, and I don't think he even has time to get to it. It'll be around for G2 regardless of the result of these engagements, but it could be an easy 2K for Envy Taylor if he plays it right. Not the case. Fabian shuts him out. G2, with a focus on planting the diffuser, will win 4 rounds in a row.
This is once again Mantis playing too far off site, and they're getting bit by it. G2 is wisely read, hey, they're only keeping 2 bodies on site, and they're not watching them. If we can get an opening pick onto one of them, we can just walk right in and plant. And Goga is a Spanish robot sent from another time and another dimension to prove that you can be the most efficient at getting the diffuser down. And I feel like every single round he is trying to break his record for fastest plant against Mantis FPS. Because it took 25 seconds, and he's already got the gosh darn diffuser on the ground.
I just think that because of the aggression from Mantis and their want to take fights, they're leaving themselves way too exposed. Way too exposed. And it's really easy for G2 to read into that and be like, hey, no one's defending the site. Not really. As soon as Cantor-Raketti took out that player by sandwich using the Ash charge, Sunrise Bar was the only obstacle. Sunrise Bar was looking backwards.
I feel like Goga's going to find a way to plant the diffuser in under 7 seconds at some point with the rate that he's going. He's going to be able to bend the diffuse timer.
I don't even think anyone was playing Sunrise Bar on the defense. I think that Jonas had full control of that, actually. He pushed in there really quickly.
No, Sunrise Bar was the pick that Kanto got.
And then Jonas was in right after.
So Mantis had Nova playing on. They had Nova playing on the stairs, the cool vibe stairs. They had Nelio playing by the soft wall. Kanto literally got a ping. He used his breaching round, blew open the wall, killed Nelio, and then Nova had to fall off the stairs, and Goga just walked right in and planted.
Yeah, no, so that wasn't Sunrise Bar. That was Sandwich. I'm talking about like the behind the actual bar. So there was nobody.
Nobody was tending bar.
Yeah, there's nobody.
Oh.
There was nobody behind the actual Sunrise Bar, and that's a really crucial anchor position. It denies default. Jonas was able to push his way in there because Cantor-Raketti got the player on Sandwich. And yeah, it was just a really bad setup from Mantis. And here we go. Tarp's being used again. Hetty's going to eat a lot of damage. Cantor-Raketti ate a little bit himself, but he's got the rifle against an SMG. At this distance, it's going to be a huge advantage for Kanto.
This is probably the most dominant game that we've seen from G2 so far, as Jonas trying to find out where all the intel is with the IQ, but will instead use the pistol to find out where Hetty is.
Yeah, and take him out of the equation. Hetty was on low HP, so it would probably be like 1 or 2 shots through that floor using his gadget. It's a down here, but it's being called out and marked as well. There could be someone to punish this. Hanguk takes out Nova, so there's the one to pick up his teammate. Actually, that's the one who got picked up, and Goga will also take out Nelio. Sweet Black able to refrag onto Goga, but still disadvantage to Mantis as Cantor Raketti walks into the hallway. Sweet Black will go down, caught on an off angle. And it's just Envy Taylor in a 1 versus 4, and look at that, diffuser being planted. Fabian's going to shut down Envy Taylor before the diffuser can even go down. A very one-sided round, and one of many here on Coastline.
Very kind of G2 to give the diffuser to Kanto because they figured that Goga was doing too efficient a job.
Yes, too many diffuse plants for
Too many. They
Goga.
said, Goga, just take the rest of the night off.
Yeah, you can go ahead
Give
and
it to
frag.
Kanto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They switched jobs, essentially.
So, clearly there's a distinct focus here on the objective for G2, and it is causing Mantis a whole lot of pain in the way that they're positioning themselves. Because it just seems like every single round, Mantis is getting caught off guard. Luckily for Mantis, it's the second half now.
G2 just seemed to set a faster pace every single round. They were a little bit sluggish on the double bars the very first time they went there and attacked there, and they got caught out, and Mantis read it. And it's funny because it was when I think back to that Pro League interview we did when ENCE beat G2. We spoke to Wilkie, and Wilkie from ENCE said, "We know that if we give G2 the appropriate amount of time to set up, they will pick us off one by one and punish us." Which is actually what Mantis does when G2 takes too long. But when G2 just completely decides to bulldoze into the site, Mantis has zero answer for it, and it must feel like they're getting bombed from outer space because they're always, what's the word even for it? They're just
Stranded, getting caught off, cut off from the rest of their team, isolated,
Yeah, it's
executed
they're
after
trying
that
to
isolation
they're trying to salvage a round by getting the final members of their team that are so far off site back in. The G2's just saying, "No, we'll play flank watch. We'll be fine.
Yeah,
Thanks for the control."
They're cutting out the flanks with relative ease, and by they, of course, I mean G2. Of course, this is the second half now, so that's not going to happen anymore. But you end a half 5-1. You expect to win the map. And keep in mind, as you can see at the top of your screen, G2 have already won map number 1. Which means if they take this, that's it.
Yep.
Mantis go down to the loser bracket, and G2 go forward in the winner bracket.
Keep in mind that the Liquid Market match hasn't even started yet.
Yeah. And then after this one on stream A, we have EG versus Lestream.
From my understanding, it will be Blue and Stokes casting the Lestream matchup. So this is,
Well, at least on this stream.
from my understanding, this is going to be our final match of the day. You and I, Michael.
We'll find out when we find out.
We'll find out when we find out.
Yeah. Cantor Raketti has downed somebody,
Nelio is down.
but he doesn't know it because there are no point notifications in Pro League or any competitive
Oh,
format.
that's a tough shot to make.
Oh, 2 for Envy Taylor. Fabian and Jonas go down, and this could be a great recovery for Mantis FPS.
There's a run out for Pengu, just ready and waiting. It doesn't appear that there's a Claymore down there, so this could be very easy for the Jaeger to come on up, but he's going to have to hurry. Cantor Raketti flirting around with that frag grenade as it sails over top of him, and he is just under so much fire.
Wow.
Pengu falls off, realizing that that is not a smart idea, and will instead head up to Cool Vibe stairs. Goga down below on the pulse. Not usual to see Goga on the pulse. It's usually Jonas's role.
True. Nice kill there from Pengu as he takes out Sweet Black. Excellent angle play and game sense to get that kill. Goes back to the blue stairs. Dangerous, but it might pay off. Goga takes out Nova as well. G2 is recovering in this round. They have a good position to bring this back, with Nelio on low HP especially.
And a pretty decent gun in the hands of Pengu. Maybe not the greatest in the UMP of Goga, but still serviceable. There's still a Nitro cell available for Goga as well, so there it goes. It'll sail on out, but he looks the wrong way. No, the Jackal Envy Taylor has a perfect opportunity, and he'll get baited so hard. Say goodbye, Goga. Pengu will be required to get the rest of the kills on this round, but there's Nelio inside of the courtyard as the diffuser starts to go down, and it's Mantis FPS grabbing round number 7 to keep themselves in this fight, despite a massive gulf between the two teams. They're gonna need more rounds like that, as quick of a pace as possible, and all of it off of the back of Envy Taylor's good Jackal play to start the round.
Yeah, you said it right. I mean, I do think that that attack looked a lot better than any of Mantis's defenses. Mantis was struggling on that first half. But at the same time, it was off the back, as you said, of 2 frags early for Envy Taylor. The fact that he's able to put those 2 together gave such a man advantage to Mantis FPS that they would have had to tried really hard to lose at that point. and they didn't. They focused up, isolated the site, took out Goga, the solo anchor, and once they had control, started going for the plant. At that point, even if Pengu had managed to get the frags by main lobby, he probably would have struggled to get back into sight. So it's a difficult prospect on the clutch. Overall, a good round there for Mantis. And if they can put more of those attacks on the board, then this might be potentially a map number 3. But it's too early to call, to be honest. And here's the lowdown of it. G2 adjust, man.
Yes.
They adjust, they adapt, they figure out what you're doing, and they fix the problem before it can cascade into a map win. And that's why we saw the last map go 8-6, but 8-6 in G2's favor. Mantis were looking so good for so long, but G2 corrected the course, and they figured out how to do this map as well, at least on the attacking side. Now, I'm sure, given time and a few rounds, a few stumbles, G2 will figure out how to defend it as well.
Kento Ricchetti sees the Jackal, but cannot land all the shots. Invitational surviving with 50% of his HP, as Kanto will head back inside. Upstairs, let's play Aqua. It's a risky gamble. Kanto almost looked like he was about to get thwarted by the door and the way that the wooden barricade had been broken open, but he's able to get back in safely, and that C7E is a very powerful gun. We know from the previous round when Invitational was able to get 3 kills with him. Hetty will start things off for us by picking off Pengu, and that's the Maestro down. A pretty crucial operator that you need through the latter half of a round. Not exactly certain how Pengu was playing that one to get taken out of the fray so early.
You gotta hope that he had positioned his evil eyes so they will be useful in terms of information, but it's unlikely considering how early he got picked. An engagement by the main door, and you can see Fabian's gonna eat a little bit of damage there. Not gonna dish any out to Nova. His position now known, he can be isolated and executed quite easily by these attackers. We'll have to find out though. That was a big whoops, but he can correct it quite easily. Not a huge deal.
He'll make that one work.
Yeah.
And he'll just anchor down the main doorway and wait so patiently.
Ooh, could have been an easy kill there for Sweet Black, but he's gonna miss the shot. Unfortunate is the word, and would have been oh so powerful had he got that pick.
Keep in mind, we're back down at Kitchen yet again, and this is much slower in terms of the way that we see these two teams playing it. But a window will get opened up, and almost landing the shots is Goga as the plant has fallen off. Fabian is downed, and Jonas will have to come to the rescue. Just sees the shoulder of the Hibana, able to control it quite well as Sweet Black takes out Goga. And, well, it's a 4v2 in Mantis' favor. Kanto sustaining some damage, but it's full control for Mantis now, as they hold a number of different avenues in towards the site. Jonas doesn't realize that there's a body right behind him. Kanto finishes off Nelio, and Jonas with his back turned. That's a freebie for Hetty. Tries to sick the diffuser, realizing he's in the open, and he'll come off of it. Kanto should be able to hear the plant going down. He'll hop on up. Diffuser goes down successfully, and Kanto's just looking the wrong way again, playing around the door, sees the Zofia, and makes quick work, but there's Invitational yet again. And Mantis FPS showing signs of life on attack as they now have 2 in a row. I'd imagine that we're not going to see another kitchen defense from G2, at least for the foreseeable future, after failing to defend it twice.
Yeah, you could rest assured that's a solid no. I don't imagine G2 going there once more, and those were very decisive rounds for Mantis FPS, I gotta say. They were able to drone out, isolate, and execute all of the roamers before hitting the site. And sure, yeah, there were some late roamers from G2 who adjusted to try and compensate, but it was, in the end, not the right call, I believe, as the anchors, or the lack thereof, were the serious flaw for G2. Now it's going to be the double bar here, being brought as the 3rd bomb site, 2nd in terms of what's been played in. Total, though, we saw 2 kitchen defenses just prior to this, and both of them, again, failures for G2. We are actually dangerously close to an even round count. Anything is possible, and considering how the attacks have been going for Mantis FPS, assuming that wasn't just them being exceptionally good at attacking kitchen, I would imagine that G2 is going to be able, or well, rather, Mantis is going to be able to bring this back, and G2 is going to struggle a little bit. We'll see.
10 seconds left.
G2 has not had the same lethality that they had when they were on attack, that's for sure.
5 seconds left.
This can deny default if it's not spotted and you open the wall, I suppose.
I was gonna say, Pengu was the very first pick that Mantis got in that previous round.
True.
Not only do you lose the Alda, but you also lose the Evil Eyes, as you mentioned, and something that a lot of newer viewers and new players to this game don't actually know is that when a Maestro dies, the Evil Eyes stay in the exact location they were in before.
He's the only one who can move them.
Correct. So if you are in a spot where your Evil Eyes are looking a certain way and you die a little bit unexpectedly, then those Evil Eyes are essentially useless to your team.
That one, for example, was placed looking into a corner.
Exactly. So you want to make sure that you go on there and you have them looking in the right direction. Kanto Raketti will feast upon Sweet Black. Down goes the buck, and the only set of frag grenades from Mantis will also be gone. Sweet Black was able to net a kill with that grenade last round, and of course has tons of destructibility with that skeleton key.
If I'm not mistaken, that's the first time that G2 is going to get the first early pick here in a defensive round, and that is huge for them.
Yes. Neilio and Kanto Raketti will exchange some words over top of the kitchen ceilings. Obviously, Kanto not a big fan of the way that Neilio is reshaping the place in his image. SMG-12 has a bit more recoil than the K1A does. And trying to navigate those metal bars with the SMG-12 in hand can be quite difficult. A beautiful shot from Envy as he just eliminates Kanto playing by bathroom door.
Talk about clean shots there, and he has been landing them. Envy Taylor, an excellent gunplay player. Now, he's going to try and push into security. He's got the footprints, and he's going to scan them.
Yes.
Fabian now position given away. He's got the support of Jonas, though. So if the push comes out from the Jackal, it will likely be to Envy's death.
This is a great play here. Envy knows the track is coming out, and he's going to push right in. And oh! Envy walks away with that one onto Jonas, which means Pengu will have to go for the run-out head. He takes out Fabian, and G2 have lost all momentum that they had through that first half of the game. They took a commanding 5-1 lead. Just over a minute to go. This is great timing for Mantis. Goga doesn't have a very large magazine in that Vector. He'll take out Neilio, but Nova is there, and Mantis starting a streak of their own. It was 5-1. It's now 5-4. G2 still leads. It's not a comfortable one at that, and it narrows. Oh boy, does it narrow.
Yeah, Mantis are looking absolutely dominant on attack, I gotta be honest. And it's the same thing we were seeing from G2 in their half. Just not quite as dominant. I will say that. Those G2 attack rounds were something else. But G2 has come a little bit close here some of these rounds. They did get an early pick in that one just now. And it almost looked like they might be able to push us onto match point, but not the case. They're going to go to double bar again. So this is the second time that G2 will lose a site and go to it once more. Not going to be jumping from site to site, trying their best to lock these things out. And
Many bombs as they can.
I guess I understand. If they're trying their, the strategy that they prepared for the site, they feel like they made a mistake that could be easily corrected. Kanto Raketti is fragging a whole lot more in this match than he had in the previous one, and that's huge for G2. It's a big part of why they had so much success on attack.
Most of those kills came on attack.
Yes, exactly.
And the fall off in all of G2's fragging ability over the latter half of this match so far has really been the story.
Yeah.
They are being almost too aggressive, which is weird because there's that perfect blend, right, of where you want to be aggressive, but then you don't want to be too aggressive. So, just something to keep in mind. Kanto did open things up early in the previous round with that pick onto the buck of Sweet Black. Sweet Black off of the buck now, and no frag grenades will be in the hands of any member of Mantis FPS. It's a bit strange, because G2 haven't really run a Jaeger that much. We saw Pengu on the Jaeger once. But there's really not that much to stop your throwables, your projectiles. And that would go quite far, especially without Mantis does tend to land those frag grenades effectively on both Clubhouse as well now through Coastline.
Yeah. I mean, we also have, if we're talking about that, we also have a Ying available, potentially be a very useful operator, especially considering how aggressive these teams have been. But no, actually, scratch that. With the way that both of these teams have been playing, I don't think anyone's going to allow a Ying to set themselves up. And yeah, it can be really useful to shut down the aggression from the defenders, but sometimes just a gun is better in those scenarios.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I can see why it's not being played.
Envy Taylor has been the absolute star of his team's attack so far through these 3 rounds, and he's going to put quite a bit of pressure onto Fabian, who is leading Envy Taylor down the primrose path with 3 goo mines inside of security, as Legion will just simply persist and likely try to hold down that spot. There you go. You can see the goo mines on the ground. which means that Taylor will stumble into 30 damage if he's not paying attention. We'll also slow him down, and most importantly, we'll give Fabian the information that he needs to be able to pounce on the Jackal. But there was a mute playing in there with a shotgun last time of Jonas, and it still wasn't able to stop Taylor. Jonas, speaking of, gets found out by Nova, and the Type 89 will be too much for the mute to handle, and the very first kill will take 90 seconds in what is one of our slowest rounds between these two teams.
Absolutely right. It's been a lot of fast attacks here, but Mantis getting so close to potentially equalizing the round count, and they'll slow down.
It's 4 Guma instead.
Fabian's doing his best, and he's going to get phone called here. Jackal tracked, pardon me, inside of security. He's losing a lot of HP every single time he peeks, but he's dishing out some damage as well.
It's a good distraction there. As off-site, Goga takes out Nova, and Kanto coming back up towards Hookah. Could possibly go for a flank as well. Nelio is down. Goga will finish him off, and the Spaniard, playing as the Spanish operator, finds 2 so far. Hetty should be able to win this fight, but no! Goga, what a beautiful shot! All the way from 2 separate rooms, leaving just Sweet Black and Envy, who are both hot on the heels of Fabian. As Elysian is playing inside of Office now. Trying to make quick work, but there's Sweet Black eliminating Fabian. Kanto will jump on Envy Taylor, and it looks like it's going to be match point in favor of G2 unless Sweet Black can perform some miracles. 20 seconds inside of luggage, miles away from the diffuser, or might as well be. Head over towards Aqua's side of things. There's going to be much contest now on that diffuser, but Sweet Black will pick it up, and every single member of G2 has fallen off. All you need to do is just simply bleed out the clock as the double bars, and Goga will pick up yet another kill. An incredible round from the anchor play of G2, and they will now move themselves to match point. Match point, 1 round away.
Match point, series point, so very close to just ending it all. It has been a valiant effort at the comeback here from Mantis, and there is still potential for OT. Just 2 rounds, of course, to bring it back. That last round was quite interesting. One of the slowest ones we've seen, as we mentioned earlier. Mantis slowed down their attack substantially. Inside of security, Fabian was able to delay for a long time. Legion traps working out to his favor in that regard. And then falling back from server, it was an easy holdout on that, pretty much that bottleneck for Fabian inside of the South office. Nobody from Mantis decided to rotate and come from a different angle. You can pressure South office from, well, the South door, but no one from Mantis decided to do that. Because of that, Fabian was able to play quite easily in that position and hold out by himself. I mean, it's a bottleneck from security to office.
I think more finger pointing needs to go towards how 2 people were unable to flush a Mira out of Hookah with only a singular rotate hole available.
I mean, that's certainly something to be said, but at the same time, I think if we're really going to be finger pointing, I would say it's a lack of focus from the attack from Mantis. They were trying to do too many things all at once.
10 seconds to insertion.
There was potential for them to, yeah, okay, clear the top floor or clear the security into South office. Either way, though, they probably should have tried to accomplish one before going for the other. Got a little too distracted.
I could have sworn we were going to see a spawn peek here from Goga. I wanted one. I really did want to see if there would be a spawn peek from Goga. He might actually be looking that way if they punched out the panels on the door, but no. He's just going to play over in pink and be able to give information to the rest of his team. Do or die for Mantis, who I think have impressed a lot more people than we expected so far.
Yeah.
It's a very back and forth contest. And certainly, a couple rounds go a little differently. And this could be a 2-0 for Mantis. Not inconceivable to think, but you make G2 basically play with their backs against the wall. That's a pretty big accomplishment in and of itself. This is obviously going to spell trouble for the loser of the Mocket Liquid match, as that one is going to be up next on the Bravo stream. Envy Taylor, a great read on Fabian, and I think that's a pretty puzzling one for the Swedish player who will be felt. Envy Taylor continues on his warpath so far, doing his damnedest to keep his team in this fight.
Darndest, Parker.
You are absolutely right, Michael.
So, we are now 1-1 on the bad words tally, and this match could potentially go 1-1 if Mantis FPS are able to bring it back. Nova is looking for the fight, and he will miss the shots that are also necessary. Jonas gets away, still alive. Evil Eye inside of VIP, going to start zapping away, but Tengu not going to waste it, just trying to distract his enemy. Again, a very slow round here from Mantis FPS. Unusual to see. Not the end of the world, though. They have the man advantage, so this could easily still be their round. The IQ is going to be doing a lot of work,
Bomb located by
detecting
attackers.
those electronics and eliminating them. Some pretty poor droning, once again, from Mantis. They don't know that 90 is clear, as is evident thanks to that pre-fire from Sweet Black. But he's going to be droning into luggage at least.
Yeah, there's a lot of information here that really could be relayed Mantis' side of things that would be helping them be able to push. It's also going to be the first defensive hookah that we see
It's true.
from G2, and hookah does actually have a very high win rate for the defenders.
Yeah.
So it's a good opportunity just based on sight alone. There's some good drone work. Could be the mute that's actually thwarting this, but Neilio pushing all the way up to 90, as you mentioned. It was clear. Free and clear, actually. There's a bulletproof camera on the reinforced wall, which you could possibly see some explosives take out. Sophia doesn't have any available.
Ash does.
Ash does. Still has a breaching round available if need be. Pengu will be able to look all the way down to luggage. He's going to get hit with one of those concussive blasts. There's still one left in the lifeline tube from Hetty. And it'll sail on out and it will find its target. Proximity based as there's two bodies looking to try to take out the Maestro. But if you've got a gun in your hands that can shred through multiple opponents, it's going to be the Alda. Oh, looking for one. It's a volley as G2 picks up 3 kills. And Hetty and Sweet Black will need to keep this even. Goga takes out one, and there he goes. Jonas with the final kill. And they survive an absolute scare as they tip their hats to their Korean counterparts. Mantis FPS come up just short. And G2 will play the victor between Liquid and Mocket tomorrow, greeting their newest addition to the coaching roster in Sua, as they can take a sigh of relief after how